Hey, better have about me, boy, okay. Leroy Tobin, hold to the show, man. Still to the stars with the show, and till then it's half moon open. Sometimes go taste like a snowman. No proof of my life, better more than no proof. Like I always wanted him, I never hated him, I never traded him, and if I did, I never ever traded him. You know what? What is a star? Like another city, the driver's side Florida. Just like a large, so many more. 10 in the more, never a bar. Hey, 10 in the more, 2 to the P. Nothing to you, but it's something to me. Handsome as ever, and cute as could be. You can watch us on YouTube with view for free. Hey, this one time for the Twitch. This one time for the text. This one time for the phone line. Whole time, wonder what they gonna do next.
You know, I just wish you guys would stop the quibbling.
Well, I did not have fun last night. I did not have fun last night at all. I wanted to cozy up to my couch, and I wanted to watch Heat basketball on national television, and I wanted to watch my cats on national television, and they both took a big poop on their respective fields. So I did not have fun last night. This is probably a good day for me to lash out. Good morning, Brittney. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good.
How are your nerves? We are on Miami Hurricanes Eve.
I'm like in shambles.
Yeah?
Really. I'm so nervous.
What is your situation? Did you ever figure out? Are you out tomorrow?
No, I'm gonna be here.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not gonna be. That's not an easy situation. I've been there when I've been committed to something else, and I can't watch what I want to watch. You know when that last happened? That last happened in June. I was doing a dirty boxing card, and it was game 5 of the Stanley Cup final. And it was the swing game. It was the swing game of the series. I took like one little peeky poo on my phone as we were changing from like undercard to main card. And I saw that they were doing really good, and Marchand was kicking at. That actually helped me a little bit. It helped me a little bit, but biggest Canes game in 25 years or 23 years. I can't imagine that's going to help you very much.
No, I mean, I already spoke with Solana and Tommy and made it very clear that we will have the game on in the room.
Have to.
And we're all going to be in the same room because we're doing it in the 560 studio. So it's a very tight quarters. So I was like, I can't be held responsible for how I'm going to behave or my mood or any of those things. So I just gave everybody a fair warning, and they all seem to, be very supportive.
You have to be. You have to. Yeah. There has to be understanding in a situation like this, and especially it's gonna line up the same. And then you got the Cats tomorrow night as well. This was gonna be busy down here. Yeah, we got the Cats going as well. That's gonna be they're taking on the Canadiens. So it's a busy night tomorrow. But I'm in the same. I'm like, how do I watch the other games? Because I am going to be, orange and green decked out, and I'm going to be just thinking about that nonstop tomorrow. The Heat, they're taking on, I know what the Heat's going to, the Heat are going to win the next 2 games because the teams they're taking on suck. So they beat teams that suck, and when teams suck, they can beat them, and when teams are good, they're like, you guys will play good for a quarter, and then you'll be the Heat. And that's what last night was. Last night was like, hey, we're going to have this incredible first quarter, and that's how it's going to be. Dade Stuff says, are you sure the Heat are going to win? I think they're going to win. I feel confident the next couple of games they win, Dade Stuff. They seem to – the one difference between this Heat team and last year's Heat team legitimately could lose to anybody. This team does a pretty good job. I think what did Anthony Chang put up the stat yesterday? It was a pretty incredible record. It was like – I think it was like 13-2 against under 500 teams. Like, they're really good against bad teams, but they're kind of, they're not that great against good teams. They beat the Pistons the other day, but I tuned in yesterday and they got off to a good start. I was like, all right, cool. We got the answer that Tyler Herro is going to be coming off the bench, which I was not surprised by. I kind of felt like it was going that way. Now we'll get to some of the sound of it because it doesn't sound so hot. Doesn't sound so hot in Heatland right now. Does not sound. I think the question that what did Ira say? He said, is it all copacetic? I don't remember who he said that to, and I'm like, and I heard the tone from both him and from Tyler and Spell, and I was like, very clearly not copacetic. It is not copacetic, but that's okay. Tyler was all right last night. Most of the people, the guys who really sucked were Bam, terrible, where he's young. I mean, it wasn't good, but the captain's got, Bam Adebayo giving a speech down 20. Like, hey, damn it. This has now been 2 times where Bam and Norm have gone speech mode down 20 in the fourth quarter. I'm like, hey, speeches earlier. We got to get to the speeches earlier, boys. Like, that's got to be how it's got to, that's how it's that. And the other weird thing with Bam, I guess I'm going to start there because I found it immensely frustrating from him last night. And he's not been good. I know that he is, and I'm going to put the caveat. We'll get to our headlines, brought to you by Doral Kia. You always play less with your Presito at Doral Kia. Visit us at Doral Kia or DoralKia.com. We're going to talk to Steve Goldstein today. Goldie's going to come on, going to talk some cats. Brian Monroe, who you will hear tomorrow on Countdown to Kickoff on WQAM. He's going to join us. We'll talk some Canes with him. But this was 2 games in a row where Bam starts off the game with an incredible bucket on Rudy Gobert. And it was like, oh, that's how you would beat Rudy Gobert. I am faster than Rudy Gobert. I will dribble around him too fast. And then he's going to spend the rest of the game trying post moves on Rudy Gobert. I'm like, that's not going to work. And then the worst was like, I'm going to stop and do fast break mid-range jumpers on Rudy Gobert, which are going to lead to leak out buckets. And I was like, what type of solution is that? And I know Rudy Gobert is a defender for all time. He's on a 3-time DPOY. Cool, dude. But Bam Adebayo usually cracks these defensive player of the year candidates right on the head. It seems to mean something to him. And these last 2 games against Rudy Gobert, he has not been good. I don't think he scored over 17 in, I think was it 9 straight games or something like that? He's got a rough go of it with putting up the points. And last night he was 3 of 11, 7 points. It's just like, hey, dude, I don't know. I don't know. Crazy, man. It's just not good enough. And like Ware also wasn't good. Somehow, I mean, I don't know what the hell was going on around the rim last night, Brittney, because I was watching some of these layups were inexplicable with how they missed. And everybody on the roster had one. Everybody. They were Smokey the Bear out there. They were smoking layup after layup. I couldn't understand it.
It's just and the turnovers is what really gets me.
Oh, dude. 21 points off turnovers you're going to give to that team?
But they gave what, 19 on Saturday?
Yes.
So it's like, is it the team? But I feel like we've had this conversation multiple times this season about turnovers and the amount of points off turnovers.
Well, that could be, I definitely think there could be some of that you're jumbling up the lineups all of a sudden and people are coming back. There could be something to that, but also I think there was a lot of sloppiness. And especially when they were starting off fast, it's like, man, what are you doing there? You guys have this opportunity. You're cooking. Norman Powell gets off to another incredible start. He's the greatest first quarter player of your life. And they just couldn't take care of the basketball. And that you're breathing life into a home crowd when that happens. You let, Anthony Edwards, who's obviously one of the best talents in the league, but Naz Reid has also just completely cooked the Heat. And yeah, there's something about these matchups against these bigger teams that have really given them issues, like Orlando and Minnesota and Toronto, and especially, but on a night like that, I can't get too much. Like they're starting Spo and Kalel together. There was even a whisper of a moment yesterday where he played all 3 bigs together, but they all stunk. All of them. They stunk. Bam stunk. Nico, not great. Oof, minus 26. Yikes. 2 of 8. Look at these numbers yesterday. Andrew Wiggins, 3 of 10. Bam Adebayo, 3 of 11. Kalel Ware, he's 7-1. 3 of 10. He had one. He literally had his hand in the basket and it missed. How? You goaltended yourself? What the hell? And I'm not going to get mad at him because, this is like when Bam was Kalel and Bam was, this was like Bam used to be Kalel Ware. Not that tall, but like he used to be the guy. I'm not going to get mad at a 21-year-old. Right now, he's Hassan Whiteside. And what I mean by that is you're the max guy. The burden falls on you. Kalel's going to have stinkers. He's getting brought to Rudy Gobert school. I remember many a years ago, Brittney, when Bam Adebayo went to OKC, a wee lad. Well, he was never a wee lad. I mean, he's a giant, athletic specimen. But a wee lad, Bam Adebayo. And he got taken to absolute hell by Steven Adams. And Steven Adams just gave Bam Adebayo the business. He was too big, too strong. Bam couldn't deal with him. And that was very much the case with Rudy Gobert and Kel'el Ware. I'm like, I'm not going to get him. He's 21. He's going up against, probably the best defensive center that there's been, the last, 8 years. Stupid John Hollinger. So I'm not, the kid's going to have stinkers. He's had a rough patch here. That happens. Bam. Come on, dude. What are we doing? The shot selection has to be better there. And I'm so tired of you letting people off the hook and you're not using your athleticism. It's been a tale as old as time. It's annoying. I understand you're banged up. I will give some reprieve, but you look like you were moving fine yesterday and you were just blowing easy shots, easy wide open shots, or making really dumb decisions.
Solana said a stat last night that I found crazy. This is going into this game, he's averaging the least amount of points that he's averaged since his third year in the league, which was his first year really starting.
Yeah, and he hasn't been efficient either.
No.
Like, it's not even like this is like, oh, he's not getting shot. No, he's getting shots. He's taking more. The thing that's weird about Bam is like all of the stuff inside the arc really is just rough. Like, he's averaging just as many free throws as he did last year. He's taking more threes, and he hasn't been hitting his threes. But that, I think, will balance out because he kind of did the same thing last year where he's going to be a streaky three-point shooter. He'll have it. It'll go in a bad way, and then I think he'll get on a run with it again. But, like, dude, some of these decisions that he makes where, like, he's going posters and he's slowing up, and everybody does the same thing. Oh, Bam's got the ball. He slows up, swipe the ball out of his hands. Like, it every single time. And, dude, Hassan Whiteside did the same thing back in the day where, like, he'd slow up. Instead of being bigger than everybody, he'd slow up. He'd try some stupid move. He'd put the ball low, get taken away. And obviously, Bam Adebayo is probably more about the right stuff than Hassan Whiteside is. But, dude, when you're sitting here and you're making the biggest bag on the team and everybody's talking about, stars want to come play with Bam. And I understand why. He does all the other stuff right. But, man, this is just, it's so frustrating to see this because it's a far cry from what he did, this year to Zubac or Jaren Jackson or any of these other guys or Evan Mobley or any of these other guys that he wanted to make a point of. Rudy Gobert took his lunch money, back-to-back games, really, really rough. Really, really rough. It's tough. So, we'll get to the Tyler thing because that's kind of its whole other thing, for sure. And then the Cats lose last night. Paul Maurice is pissed. I haven't heard him that pissed in a while. But we'll get into that as well. Lots to dive into here on Tobin and Leroy. We take a break. More to come. We're back after this.
Got what you
All right, welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you today. Leroy's off today. Stop texting me where he is. None of your business. Weirdos. Stop trying to find out. Brittney's with us here today. We're going to talk to Steve Goldstein next hour. Brian Monroe is going to talk some Canes with us coming up in the 12 o'clock hour. And we'll dive all over. John Harbaugh is fired. That was the big news yesterday. Obviously, Troy Aikman has got to get him on the list too, even though Troy Aikman's now in charge. I don't care about Troy Aikman finding a GM. Find me John Harbaugh. Get out of Troy Aikman. I was trying to find out last night, are there any ties between Troy Aikman and John Harbaugh? None that I could find. In fact, all it just brought up was fake news on, I was like, Troy Aikman rips the Harbaughs. And I was like, did that really happen? And it was like one of those Facebook posts that was just very obviously false. Now, I don't know why anybody would make something like that, but they did. That is the world that we live in right now. I also yesterday was perusing the Fiesta Bowl media stuff. I'm very confused by their trophy. It looks like an antique shop threw up on it. Like, did you like the trophy, Brittney?
I thought it was so pretty.
You did?
Yeah.
With
I was
the
like,
stained
oh my
glass
God.
on it?
It's very unique.
It is very unique. That is true. You forget that these bowls all have their own trophies. The only one I always remember is the Orange Bowl because they fill a bowl with oranges. It's a classic thing.
Well, yeah, that and like the Peach Bowl with the hat, with the leather hat.
But I was like, oh yeah, the Cotton Bowl. That's a cool looking trophy. Do they get to keep the trophies?
You know, this is one of my biggest sports questions ever in life is, do they make a new trophy every year?
A lot of places don't.
And a lot of them don't.
A lot of places don't. You have to buy a trophy. Like, I think the only trophies you get to keep in sports, I think the big four, we know Stanley Cup, you don't get to keep the Stanley Cup.
No.
I believe you get to keep the Larry O'Brien trophy.
I think so.
I believe you get to keep the Commissioner's Trophy, which is the stupidest name in the world, in baseball. The Commissioner's Trophy. Well, where to get the goosies. And then the Lombardi Trophy, I believe you get to keep. You get to keep all of those trophies. Do you get to keep the World Cup? Is there a new World Cup every time?
That's my question.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. Trophies are such a mystery in sports.
The Fiesta Bowl trophy did not look like a trophy you get to keep. But there's so much money. I would imagine that you just call, like, this is probably the whole scam, right? You probably get to call them up at the trophy store and be like, hey, make us one of those. We want that trophy.
Right, like you get a replica trophy that you get to like put on display. Because I mean, how do all these people have their trophies on display all the time then, like in their facilities?
Like if you go to the Canes facility, you got like the Cristobal. I think that you got to keep, as far as I know. But I have I don't know but that thing is, you like that thing?
Yes, I like it. I don't know why you're such a hater.
I'm not being a hater. It's just like,
who cares about the trophy anyways?
I do. I like trinkets. You know who looked like they didn't care about the trophy yesterday? Heatherman. This man, Corey Heatherman, the Canes defensive coordinator, I really want to know what brings him joy other than the blitz, because they just get him on these pictures, and it's hard to describe what his mood is, because I don't want to say he's an angry man, but he just always looks very intensely focused. And so, like, they bring up these pictures of him, and there's just nothing going on there. I think he's just scheming at all times.
He just, like, I would describe his demeanor as indifferent. He just seems so indifferent at times. I'm just like, do you care? Like, are you happy? Are you a happy person? Do you enjoy success?
I think he's only happy shutting teams down.
Sure.
I don't know if even he's a family man. I don't really know much about Corey Heatherman. I like to kind of keep him as a man of mystery with his scowl, but I don't know. I just like, I've never even, I think I've listened to like one press conference of him, and it was like, like it was that's what it felt like. But I see these pictures, and you kind of see Shannon Dawson, like he's got that sly dog to him, like he was making fun of everybody last week. I saw him talking bleep about, all the people who are like, oh, the A&M win wasn't impressive. And so like he's rolling with the punches. He's having fun. He's got his trick plays. Looks like he can cut loose. I don't know if Heatherman cuts loose. I don't know what cutting loose is to him.
I like, and usually I always think that there's like a facade with that. Like the Indiana coach, I find him to be so like corny in his attempt to be like so intense. It's like, I know you want to smile when Fernando Mendoza is like throwing touchdown passes.
Oh yeah, that's their whole thing. Yeah,
like that's their
he's
whole
trying to
thing.
be new Saban.
Yeah, he is.
He's trying to be new
with
Saban.
Heatherman. Like, I don't get that vibe. It's like this is genuinely his demeanor.
No, I mean, like, it was the first thing that when they hired him, I was like, man, look at that beard. He looks like a coordinator. Like, he just looks. I mean, I imagine he could be a good head coach, but I don't think he wants to. I think he probably just wants to be a defensive coordinator. I can imagine him wanting to do that his whole life, just dialing up the blitz. That's what he wants to do from time to time. And, like when Ruben Bain leaves him, I don't, do they hug? Do they handshake? What do they do?
Like, all right, I'll see you on the other
He's
side.
so like,
he just nods. He's just like,
I just look at him. I see Corey Heatherman and I'm just like, this man is all business.
He really is.
He is all business. I don't think he ever takes off his Canes windbreaker.
He does always wear the same thing.
I think it's this.
He's like the definition of an NPC. Like he's like a robot. He wakes up, he plugs into his charger, and he goes to the Canes facility.
I think if you opened his closet, it would be nothing but hats and windbreakers. And it's maybe it's just one. Maybe he's got the every other day one. I don't know. Maybe he's got a black one and a green one. I don't know. But they probably were like, hey, Heatherman, we got some new Fiesta Bowl swag. And he's like, he just looks at it. He's just like, and he just walks away, from the equipment guy. I'm sure he's a perfectly nice man. Maybe he's chuckles behind, but I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. What's the, the term, there's the inappropriate term of people who do nothing on an airplane because people don't listen to music or they like.
Yeah.
He that's how I picture him on an airplane. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't think he reads books. Maybe plays, but I think all the plays are in his head.
And he's not even closing his eyes. Like, he's the kind of guy that just stares at the back of the seat in front of him.
That's a good point. I've never seen him blink.
I've never seen him blink.
It's insane, but I love it. But I can't get enough of it. He's kind of my favorite character on the team. That's, because Mario's got his thing. Mario is tough. He's like, it's also like, I feel like with Mario, that when we talk shtick, that's a little bit of his thing. Like, we're so tough. We're tough. And we hit the fists and all that type of stuff. There's a bravado to it. I don't know what Corey Heatherman's is. I just think it's just being a football nutcase who's just like always thinking about it. And he's just got these two monsters. And I do think everybody feeds into it because this defense has been incredible this entire run.
No, yeah, he's an interesting character. I can never imagine him being a head coach. There's just no way that man wants to do that much media availability. Like, Mario has a persona for it. He's able to, joke with Nick Saban on College Game Day, and he has a persona to be funny yet also intense. Corey Heatherman I don't think he has a switch. Like, it's just intensity at all times.
Where do you think he goes? Like, I feel like whenever the Heathermans go on vacation, I feel like he's going to the mountains. Like, I feel like Siberia is relaxing.
That's where he really, and you just see a picture with him on the beach and it's just him in swim trunks and his Miami windbreaker. That's where we're going to get this off season.
But the beach is frozen.
It's a frozen tundra.
Yeah, he's like, oh, great. Back to Minnesota. That's my vacation. I don't know. I love him. I'm just like looking at these pictures. I'm like, he's not happy in any of these pictures.
No.
He hates photo opportunities.
No, he's like, why do I have to do this media day stuff? Why am I here for it? Someone get Jason Taylor on the out here.
Unbelievable. All right, we'll take a break. We'll do a little mixed bag coming on up. Coaches, very perturbed. Back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you on FM 104.3 WQAM. Real American Freestyle is coming to Amerant Bank Arena this Saturday. Colby Covington is taking on Luke Rockhold. And we're giving away a 4-pack of tickets today. Keep on listening to our show for details on how you can win. You can't wait to win. You can purchase tickets at amerantbankarena.com/events. I'm taking my son to Real American Freestyle this weekend. We're going to bring him. I was trying to explain to him. He's like, what is it? He's like, is it like, because I told him it was wrestling. He's like, is it professional wrestling? Like hitting in the chair? I was like, do you want to go to that? He goes, maybe. But I was like, you'll like it. I'm like, you know, it's not jiu-jitsu, but it's grappling. Like you'll get a kick out of it. And these guys are really good. They got Yoel Romero's on the card, and he's taking on Bo Nickel, but it's wrestling. You know, there's not a high school, or there's not a elementary school wrestling team, so he hasn't gotten into that. I'm not sending him to Dagestan for Khabib school, but I always find it funny that like Daniel Cormier says he's going to send his kids to Dagestan to learn from the wrestlers over there. But it sounds like a cool event. I was like, I kind of dig this, and it looks like it's got a cool thing together. I like how all the combat sports. I like how it's all branching out. It's pretty cool. It's been forever since the UFC has fought. The UFC's been out now. They got their, what are they? The 23rd, I think, is when they come back. So it's been a long haul. They're starting on Paramount and checking that on out. Dr. Toboggan says no chair smashing, only singlets. Yep. Only singlets.
Oh, so they do wear singlets.
Yes, they do.
So it's like traditional.
It's traditional wrestling
with like the little ear things.
I don't know if they wear the ear things. They might. I'm not saying that they don't, but I don't know if they wear the ear things. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. So we will check that out. Me and Tommy Tobin going there on Saturday. Let us get to the mixed bag. We'll start off in the mixed bag with a beautiful man. His name is Paul Maurice. He is a 2-time Stanley Cup champion, and his Panthers lost to the Leafs last night, and he was pissed.
Well, there's a good question. We started slow and found a way to get slower. And then, I don't know that we could rate it, but you're down 3 at that point. The risk profiles of both teams changed. So, I didn't like our game tonight at all.
Did you like anything about the push there at the end?
Not really. I like Mackie Samuelskevich. Thought they played hard. I thought the Cunningham line played very hard. And I thought Sergei was good, especially in the first 2 periods. So those guys get the pass. The rest of us, coach included, can't be too proud of our game tonight.
Yikes. They're another one that's like, I can't get mad at the Cats because the Cats are very injured right now. They just had arguably their best win of the season, 2-1 filthy on Sunday, but then they, it's so bunched up in the Eastern Conference. I mean, there's not a lot of terrible teams in the NHL this year, which is odd. But the Leafs had a big night. Austin Matthews, I think he became the all-time goals leader. So they had the juice in the building last night. Big ceremony for him. So the 6-game road trip gets off to a rough start. The Cats lose 4-1, got down 3-0, got a goal. Carter! And then an empty netter to finish things off there. But alas, a loss is a loss. And we'll talk some more Cats coming up in the 11 o'clock hour with your voice of the Florida Panthers on the television broadcast, Steve Goldstein. And we'll see what's what. The good news is Tkachuk sounds like he is going to be back soon. He has the non-contact jersey off, so he's just wearing a regular practice jersey. It's just a matter of him taking contact. And he made it sound like sometime towards the end of the trip. So we'll see. Meanwhile, we mentioned John Harbaugh was let go yesterday. Somewhat surprisingly. I think it's surprising when you see the statement and they're like, hey, we thought we had to go. It wasn't a mutual parting of ways. Owner came out. He's just like, I'm relieving him of his duties. I was like, damn, dude, after that many years, you're just cutting bait on John Harbaugh just like that.
I think, in my opinion, Lamar Jackson had something to do with that.
It's hard not to feel that way, right? It's
Yeah.
hard not to feel like there was a little bit of frostiness. Now, I've seen reports that the Lamar Jackson thing had more to do with the offensive coordinator, that John Harbaugh would not fire. That was his guy. And so ergo, it becomes then a John Harbaugh problem. But, he's everyone. Here's the thing. It's such I don't even know if John Harbaugh is like the sexiest name in the world. He's the least sexy of the Harbaughs, even though he's a Super Bowl champion and Jim's a national champion. He's been to a Super Bowl. They had the Hard Bowl. But he's got more credibility than basically anybody who's out on the market, I guess, other than McCarthy, but even I think more than McCarthy, because he was, McCarthy was kicked around a couple of teams. So everybody is going to go after him. He doesn't really have any controversy. Nobody, he's thought of running one of the better organizations for years. So if you're the Dolphins, this is such a prayer answered. The only thing is, does he look at the Dolphins as a sexy situation? That's the real key here.
Well, I think it's also the only situation where he can come in and pick his own GM, which I think is huge.
That's true. That is true. Unless, the Giants were to fire the guy who got rid of Saquon Barkley. But to be fair to that guy, even though he comes off like a wild buffoon, they got talented players. Now they've gotten to pick very high in the draft.
But we've seen that necessarily doesn't equate to talent.
That's true. Especially down here.
Nope.
But the thing with Harbaugh is, like, do you want to come in immediately? Like, you don't want a Pete Carroll situation where you come in with your credibility and then one season everybody just thinks, the game's passed him by. He's a little too old. And he's not old. He's 63. He's not even Pete Carroll old, who's the youngest old man in football. But if you're telling me that's not the the elixir to all of this stuff with the Dolphins, I don't know what is. But anyway, here was Adam Schefter yesterday on SportsCenter. This is him discussing all of the interest in John Harbaugh around the league.
Well, let's say this. According to his agent, Brian Harlan, within 45 minutes after John Harbaugh was fired, 7 teams reached out to him about seeing if John Harbaugh would be interested in becoming that team's particular head coach. Now, let's do the math here. There are currently 7 NFL teams with head coach openings, including the Baltimore Ravens. That means that there was at least one, and my understanding it's more, teams that have current sitting, acting head coaches that reached out to John Harbaugh's agent, Brian Harlan, to see if John Harbaugh would be interested in going to that city. So what we can take away from that right there is, obviously, there are teams with openings like the New York Giants that would be very interested in John Harbaugh. But there also are teams out there with current sitting, acting head coaches who are saying to themselves and asking themselves, are we better off with our current head coach or with a coaching free agent like John Harbaugh?
All right. According to Josina Anderson, longtime NFL reporter, she says the Dolphins have been in touch with John Harbaugh, which we'll get into because obviously that's an interesting situation with McDaniel. Do you just let him go and say, hey, dude, we want to go on a search? Feels like the prudent thing to do. I remember the last Harbaugh pursuit. Didn't go great. Meanwhile, Carson Beck, your Canes QB, QB1. This is what he had to say on the pressure of the Fiesta Bowl.
I don't like to, just blow it off and say it's just another game. Obviously, it's not another game. It's it's the college football playoff semifinal. I think it's important to recognize it for what it is. And obviously, we as a team are super blessed and grateful to be in this position. We've worked really hard to be in this position, and we've earned the opportunity to be in this position. So I think just recognizing it for what it is, we're really excited for that opportunity. And at that point, once you know what it is, you can just go out there and cut it loose and just have fun.
Look, this is part of the reason you get him. He's got the experience being at a big program, being around games like this. But it's been good to see. I thought the game that he played, so stones, that game that he played against Ohio State, those key runs, Brittney, like how did you feel when he had those big runs in that game?
When he put his shoulder down to get that first down, I said, I think that might have been my moment of, oh, this team is different.
So that's what you said?
I said that. I was like, oh, wow. I looked over to my dad and I was like,
I don't feel like you were that calm.
No.
I feel like you and your father chest bumped. Like, I feel like that's what happened.
There was more than, there was a lot, it was a very intense group of people.
What was your celebration? Did you guys pop bottles? Because my son and I jumped in the very, very cold pool.
I saw that.
We jumped in a very cold, and he's looking forward to it. He's like, hey, I'm doing it again. And I'm like, hey, this is a school night now, but hey, don't tell your mother, if it happens.
No, let him enjoy it. Let him.
I feel like let him enjoy it. Like, I remember, man, how old was I when the Canes won in 2003? Like, yeah, you don't know when this thing happens.
You don't.
You don't know.
I don't remember it, so this is like the first time for me. So what happened is that my whole family had come up for New Year's, and all my uncles were there who have had season tickets my whole life, who I used to go to, games in the Orange Bowl with, and there are massive reasons why I'm such a big sports fan and a Canes fan. And we all got to watch the game together, which was like the first time in almost 10 years. I think since the last, when would we play? I think it's been 10 years since we played Wisconsin in that Orange Bowl. It was the last time we all watched a game together, and it was there was tears, there was yelling.
Wow!
And once they got the game-stealing interception, I ran upstairs to get the speaker from outside, and I came down and I had the speaker hoisted on my shoulder and was just blasting music for everyone.
What were you playing?
We were playing Take It to the House, and then
Daddy.
Get It Girl came on.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
and the
goosies.
kids quickly had to get ushered out of the room once I decided to play that one.
Man.
But it was
Goosies
Goosies
galore.
I know. I shared the videos with Jennifer. Those are not suitable for they're suitable for private. I could show you in private, but I can't show you, anywhere else.
Did you let the kids show Michael Irvin beating the hell out of that cooler?
Yeah, no, the kids were not ushered out of the room. That was me just trying to, be politically correct. They were definitely there. We had my 3-year-old nephew. He was doing Sebastian. He was our Sebastian. So every time the Canes would score, he would do the C-A-N-E. Yeah,
that's adorable.
It was very.
Well, you got this tomorrow. Countdown to kickoff is at 3:00. 7:30 is your kickoff for the Fiesta Bowl, Canes and Ole Miss. Here is their QB, Trinidad Chambliss, on his game plan against the Canes.
Elite focus, great preparation, and then just execute when, it's game time. Our coaches are putting us in great positions. We have a great game plan for, the Miami defense. And, they got dudes on the other side of the ball. Their defensive line is, stacked. And I know that Coach Cristobal will have the team ready and we'll have them ready. So we just got to execute and just, eliminate little mistakes and just ball out, have fun, and, enjoy it, really.
Very smart there, Trinidad. All the respect in the world. No bulletin board material, eh?
Finally, somebody has learned finally someone has learned, let's not piss these people off. Let's give them their respect.
Somebody sent me one of their receivers. A clip of one of their receivers was like, "Oh, we're gonna get the we get off the it moves quick," and I'm just like,
"Yeah." And we have the deep ball. And I'm just like, man,
all right. Like it wasn't as bad as the other schools. It was it was a 3 on a scale of a 1 to 10 to the other schools.
Are they not media trained?
I don't think that. Well, I mean, their coach was Lane Kiffin.
That's so true. Yes.
I'm honestly surprised there isn't more of this.
Can we bring him back for the press conference?
Honestly, their coach, the players may be more mature than Lane Kiffin.
It's true.
So that's possible. It's possible that they're just like, I'm not going to act like a child on the internet, which is what my coach does.
Yeah, I need another Lane Kiffin come out here and start talking trash to Shannon Dawson the way that Urban Meyer was, so that we can get the expendable playbook that we got against Ohio State.
Man. Finally, your Miami Heat, they lose last night. Here was Norman Powell on getting everybody right.
I think it's really important, being a fully healthy team finally. I mean, we didn't have Jaime, but, getting back to full strength and full health, we got to figure out our identity with that. Some guys aren't going to get the minutes, looks, touches, whatever it is, but we can't let that affect how we want to play on a nightly basis. Like, we should be a tougher team when we get healthy.
Yeah, well, I'm not holding my breath, dude, because usually it seems when somebody comes back, somebody else goes down. It's the NBA. That's usually how it works. Right now I'm thinking, man, maybe they should let Bam rest for 2 weeks the way that he looks like right now. Maybe he needs a reset. I don't know what the hell's going on with him. We'll get into Tyler's comments after the game. He seemed quite perturbed. So did the coach, quite frankly. I think they were really annoyed by that loss. They're actually practicing today on the road, which is kind of weird. They traveled to Chicago, and then they're like, they're going to practice this afternoon. I was like, he was obviously pissed. So yeah, we'll take a break. Get back into the Dolphins. Talk some Cats. Steve Goldstein going to join us next hour. We got Brian Monroe joining the show later on today. We'll talk Canes, Ole Miss with him, and lots more shenanigans on the other side. We're back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Tobin and Leroy here with you on this lovely Wednesday. Let's get to our headlines brought to you by Doral Kia. You always pay less with your Pricito at Doral Kia. Visit us at Doral Kia or at DoralKia.com. The Ravens let go of John Harbaugh yesterday. He has reportedly received interest from several teams interested in hiring him. So we'll see what happens there. Of course, the Super Bowl champion Ravens coach let go after 18 seasons. And of course, many years ago, Stephen Ross went after Jim Harbaugh. And that was when he had coach Tony Sparano still under contract. He got busted pursuing Jim Harbaugh because people tracked his flight. And then he didn't get Jim Harbaugh because it was such a bad look that Harbaugh was interested in somebody's job. Mind you, I think he was at Stanford at the time. He was interested in somebody else's NFL job. It was a bad look. It was uncouth of Jim Harbaugh to want that job. And it was certainly a bad look that Stephen Ross wanted to get a coach while he had a coach still under contract. And he never got Jim Harbaugh. And then there was this very awkward press conference in the Dolphins boardroom, which when I was with 790 The Ticket at the time, I ended up going to that with our lead reporter at the time, Josh Friedman. And I just remember looking at the late Tony Sparano's legs. I could see Brittney. I was on the kind of the side of the boardroom table. I just remember his legs twitching the whole time because it was this weird situation where he got an oopsie daisy, I'm sorry contract extension with his boss and his, I guess at that point, former friend and coworker, Jeff Ireland. Super weird. So one has to wonder with Mike McDaniel kind of hanging in the wind here. Mike McDaniel, it was reported on Monday by NFL Network that the expectation is, yeah, he's going to be back as Dolphins head coach. And there's been a lot of that smoke that's around the Dolphins, but yet we don't have an official announcement from the Dolphins. The Dolphins are interviewing general manager candidates, I assume as we speak, because they were doing them Tuesday and today virtually. And Mike McDaniel revealed in his press conference that he's meeting with Stephen Ross at some point later in the week. Mike McDaniel was supposed to meet with Tua, I believe yesterday. So, and now you're starting to get reports that the Dolphins are in touch. Josine Anderson reports that the Dolphins are in touch with John Harbaugh's camp. And by my count, Mike McDaniel's still the coach. So are we going to have a repeat? Hard to believe that they would do that again.
I mean, if you're already in touch, I think that's exactly what you're already doing it. That's that. And if that's the case, just cut Mike McDaniel loose. In my opinion, he should have been fired on Monday already as it is. So the fact that you're retaining, even the thought that you're entertaining retaining him is crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. Because you're just in a spot where this isn't going to go away, right? Like we're going to get all these reports about the GMs and who has ties. And even one of the guys that they had with the Chargers, I think it was Chad Alexander. I think this guy's name. All their names escape me. I got to be honest with you. But he has a past with John Harbaugh, both Harbaughs actually. And actually seems like he's got a pretty established resume, with working with the Ravens, apparently was in the front offices that took the good Jets, not the terrible Jets. That's what they always say that with the candidates. They don't talk about the bad Jets, only the good Jets. And then he worked the last 2 years with the Chargers. So I'm just, I just don't know what the benefit is of getting rid of McDaniel, what the benefit is of leaving McDaniel hanging in the breeze. Because, okay, worst case, you don't get John Harbaugh. And you're losing a coach that seems pretty flawed. I don't know. I think I'm at this spot with the Dolphins where look, you should be allowed to put the full court press on your guy, but also this is now the Dolphins pursuing a coach has blown up in their face multiple times in Stephen Ross's tenure. I don't really think that you should go about this sneakily because you're either A, going to get busted for tampering, or B, piss off a coach who you still have here, which, yeah, I know the response will be, who cares? He's got the job. He's going to get handsomely paid. I don't know. How many times are you going to fall for that circus?
Yeah, it's just the fact is like if you're the only reason why you keep Mike McDaniel is because you couldn't get John Harbaugh, then you've already failed in your endeavors to become a better team.
It's also just not going to be like, again, imagine the Dolphins even wanted to entertain that with John Harbaugh. And they're like, well, what are you guys getting rid of Mike? And he's like, well, only if you give us like, he's not going to interview when Mike McDaniel still got a job. I think did Jim do that with the Vikings too? I don't recall, where I feel like he got a little heat for that with Minnesota too.
I feel like there was some controversy around his, going to the NFL and him talking to teams that had head coaches.
I feel like that was a little bit when he was still with Michigan, right?
Mm-hmm, it definitely was.
Yeah. But he probably and that was part of the thing with the Sperano thing. Like they just got, I forgot, maybe it was Jeff Darlington who exposed the plane. I think back in the day, he's like, you guys can flag. It was in the infancy of Twitter too. It was like 2011, I think. So people were like following this thing on social media. They're like, well, this is where his plane is going. This is where he's at right now. And you're just like, what?
And that was 2011. Can you imagine what that's going to look like in 2026?
Oh, man, it's going to be crazy. It would be crazy. So, yeah, I just think that, look, if you're interested in somebody else, you're already telling you I'm not that interested in my coach.
Exactly. So
move on.
Just move on.
Just move on. There's nothing wrong with it. It was a valiant effort. It's not even what you wanted in the first place, right? You wanted Sean Payton with a side of Tom Brady. You wanted to try and bring yourself out of mediocrity. You weren't happy with the Flores era. You weren't happy with the Tua era. You didn't get the Deshaun Watson thing because he was a creep. I think that he's entitled to start fresh. He tried to make it work. This was his plan B all along anyway. You gave it 4 years. You spent a whole lot of money. You got no playoff wins to show for it still. So I don't know what you owe him, other than the money that's on his contract. Like, other than the money, what are you going to leave him hanging in the breeze? Let him go out. Because at that point, are you going to keep him hanging in the breeze? And like what? And then maybe Tomlin gets let go if he loses in the first round. And you're like, oh, well, now we're interested in Tomlin. No, let him go. You're not that interested in him as your coach anymore.
Mm-mm.
The GM's probably not that interested in having him as the coach anymore. It seems silly to keep hanging around here like this. You're almost and the Dolphins are kings of this. They did this to Tua with the Watson thing. I remember like Tua going up to those podiums and be like, I don't not feel wanted. It was super awkward. And this Dolphins team just leads the league in awkward. Just if you want somebody else, nothing wrong with that. You're totally entitled to do that in sports. Just pay the man what he's owed and let him go on his merry way.
Exactly.
Nobody's going to be upset about it. I promise you.
If anything, everybody's going to be happy about it because it just shows a different initiative. And I think it's a different mindset if you don't go for a new coach and you keep Mike McDaniel.
Mm-hmm.
You're setting the tone already for what next season's going to be like.
Right. Lame duck. It's going to feel lame duck.
It is. It's going to be like there's going to be no anticipation. There's no matter what moves you make moving forward player-wise, no one's going to care because you still have the same head coach that we've had issues with that has proven absolutely nothing to any of us. So, yeah, it's just like I've said, I expected Mike McDaniel to be fired on Monday, and then Steven Roth came out and was like hinting at, Mike McDaniel was going to be in the conversations of what GMs that he wanted, and I found that to be insane. And then now you want to go for John Harbaugh while Mike McDaniel's still your sitting head coach and you haven't done anything about it. It's a bad look. But I mean, are we shocked? This is what the Miami Dolphins do.
Not shocked at all. We'll take a break. Talk about an organization that's got their bleep together. That's the Florida Panthers. Steve Goldstein, your voice of the Florida Panthers on the television broadcast. He drops by next. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Tobin and Leroy here with you on FM 104.3 WQAM. Took a couple ones on the chin last night. Your Heat got smoked by the Timberwolves, 122-94. Panthers, they started off their road trip, and they fell to the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-1. That's okay. They're back at it on Thursday. Very busy sports night on Thursday night. The Panthers will be taking on the Canadiens at 7 o'clock. We talked to the voice of your Florida Panthers on the television broadcast alongside Randy Muller. They do an excellent job. Steve Goldstein joining us there. Steve, appreciate the time, man. How are you?
So hang on a second. Hey, Coach Harbaugh, come here. Hey, John. Okay, I'm with you now. I'm sorry.
Do you remember, Steve, you remember the last Harbaugh pursuit? Do you remember how weird that was?
You know, it's funny because I was working that day for CBS, Miami, Channel 4. I worked part-time, and I was actually staked out on, 30, right? Southwest 30th off University, the old training facility when the helicopter came in.
Oh, man.
So, yes, I remember it.
That was something. This loss last night, they're coming off an excellent loss against the Avalanche. Last night, it was a tough one. And not as angry as I've heard Paul Maurice or perturbed as I've heard Paul Maurice after the game. What did you the make of the performance and Paul's reaction to it?
Yeah, agree. He's got such a good finger on the pulse. Look, this is new for everybody. I mean, how many teams go back to back and 3 straight times getting there. So, he's basically had the foot off the gas as far as really getting on guys because he understands the situation. And, last night you got an inordinate, you're up to 7 guys out of the lineup without Jones, and you can live with 3 or 4. You start getting over 5 and 6 players out. It's really tough. It's like 40% of your team. But last night annoyed him because I thought, and obviously I'm assuming he thought, they really weren't ready to play the game. Toronto had been playing well. It's a rival. It's starting a road trip. It's coming off, a real big win over Colorado. And, they just didn't play the way they didn't look the way they're supposed to look. He can live with losses, but it's got to look the way it's supposed to look. And, Toronto was the better team in the effort level as far as the 50-50 battles. They won more of them. They had the better legs. So there's, I trust the guy so completely as a head coach because he's done everything right since he stepped foot in South Florida, and he's got a great knack and his finger on the pulse of when to push, when to kind of say, hey, guys, not acceptable, and when to kind of, just back off, which he has most of this season.
Yeah, and it's also a tough thing because it's like you earn that trust after, 3 straight trips to the Stanley Cup final. So it's hard ever when to know when to worry as a fan or to just be like, well, they're the champs. Like you got to just accept that. Like, how do you ride the wave of that? Because you can only take so many. Even Marchand getting banged up last night. Like you can only take so many where you're like, are they going to be able to dig out of this?
Right. Well, the key is, before last night, you felt pretty good. Half a season, you're on a 94-point pace, without your guys. Hopefully those guys are coming back. And you're feeling like you're in pretty good shape. I mean, 3 years ago at this time, they were 9 points back. So, that was before the game last night. You would have liked to get the win last night and start the road trip with a victory. But, I just look at it personally as it is what it is. I mean, nobody has ever played. It's uncharted territories because no team has ever played as much hockey as these guys have over the last 3 years. It's never happened. And then you go and not only do you lose a ridiculous number of guys, but you lose the guy that, if I'm I know Connor McDavid, Nate McKinnon, Aleksander Barkov's the one that's won the last 2 cups. So, arguably, if you're starting a team in the league, the guy you're taking isn't even playing. So it's not just all role players that they're missing, Barkov and Tkachuk. So I thought they managed it pretty well. It's a matter of just kind of surviving, keep your head above water. And I think they've got a pretty good confidence that after the Olympic break, when they get most of their people back, it's a team that, okay, if we're, within 3 points or 4 points of a playoff spot, we're in pretty good shape. And as you know, it doesn't matter where they finish, this particular team. In fact, in some ways, I think they'd rather finish lower and actually start on the road because they've had so much road success in the playoffs. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens tomorrow night. Montreal's a team that's kind of had their number for whatever reason, even though they kind of had the game won when they played a couple weeks ago at home. Yeah, and they let it get away.
Crazy.
A crazy game.
I was happy to see Tarasov bounce back the way that he did, though, because that was incredible against Colorado. Because he had a shutout in hand, like basically against the Canadiens, and it just slipped away.
Could not agree with you more. In that second goal, the miscommunication behind the net, could not agree with you more. And for a guy like him to come back against the Avalanche and play the way he did, and he's got McKinnon on the breakaway with 3 seconds left, I thought that was big. Since mid-October, they're 10-2-1 following a regulation loss. So they don't let things linger. They have a unique ability to snap right back. So I'm real curious to see how they come out tomorrow night.
So Matthew Tkachuk spoke this weekend, and he said he kind of alluded to maybe the end of the road trip, but I saw on your Twitter yesterday that he's out of the non-contact jersey. What's the buzz? Is there any chance it's early on the road trip? What do you think is the feel of when Tkachuk will be back?
Well, you know me, I'm like every other fan. Okay, you lost the game last night. If you don't win tomorrow, get him in there on Saturday. It's funny because it's a weird road trip, Tobin. The first part of it ends with Game 4 in Buffalo on Monday. Then they've got 3 days off, and then the road trip kind of continues on Friday and Saturday. So, look, if he doesn't play in the next 3 games, you're really giving them like an extra 4 days off. They may elect to do that. I'm kind of joking. I don't think any results over the next 72 hours determine whether he plays either Saturday or Monday, or they wait until the following week. But, the great news is it appears to be imminent that he will be back at some point very soon in the next handful of games. And
what do you think they're going to be missed? Obviously he's great, but it's we haven't seen him since Game 6. So what do you think that's going to just bring to them as a whole, as far as balancing out the roster and obviously just the attitude that he brings?
Yeah, I think those 2 things are huge. He does those 2 things. And, remember, we hadn't seen him in a long time before Game 1 in Tampa last April. And what does he come in? He bangs in 2 power play goals, wasn't even probably close to 100%, didn't play very much 5-on-5, and the guy just had a huge impact. And whatever percentage he was in the playoffs, he was at a point a game during the playoffs in need of surgery. So I think it's going to be a huge factor, on the power play, which right now without Jones and without Barkov and Tkachuk has struggled a bit of late. He brings the stuff you talked about. And we also have to remember, with all the stuff around his persona, which is a big part of it, the guy's a legit point a game guy or more. And to me, I'm fascinated because I think it's really the first time he's healthy since his first year as a Panther. Remember, he took the hit from Kolasar in the 23 final. Remember, he needed his brother to help him get out of bed to even play Game 4 and he needed help getting the skates on him. And the guy is just a true warrior and a gamer. And, he was never really healthy, I don't think 100% since. So I think it's going to be a huge factor. And I just hope that as he comes back, no one else leaves the lineup. That's my hope. Do you think, in all honesty, I understand he's so American. Matthew Tkachuk brushes his teeth with a bald eagle. He is Mr. America. Is there any nerves about letting him go to the Olympics just because, and I know he's so prideful with it, but just, hey, like you said, this may be the first time they've had him fully healthy, and now he's leaving your team. Look, Tobin, me, I'm a little old school on it. I don't care when guys play preseason football. We saw Barkov on day 1 get hurt in a drill with no contact. Anybody can get hurt anytime. First of all, it's kind of a moot point because he's playing, and all these guys, if they can go, they're putting on the jersey for their country, whether we like it or not. In a perfect world, the only hockey that anybody would play, or the only games that any athlete in any sport would play, would be the ones for your team. But, that's just not reality. So, he's going to the Olympics. I think it's great as a hockey fan. And, obviously, like you, we all root for the USA. Him and his brother being there is going to be awesome. And you hope he comes out of it and he's even in better shape. I don't know if he can gain any more confidence, but comes back a confident player like the rest of them. And he's ready to go. Look, this was a big topic last year in that 4 Nations. Yeah. And not only did all those guys go and play, but Matthew actually got hurt and was out. And they still won the Stanley Cup, which is incredible.
On the Olympic topic, I felt terrible for Bennett. He seemed really bummed that he didn't make the roster. What the hell? How does the Conn Smythe Trophy winner not make the Canadian roster?
I mean, look, to me, it's silly. He was a big factor in them winning the Four Nations. And what did he do after that? Scored the most road playoff goals in the history of the NHL and in the playoffs. And as you said, won the Conn Smythe. So I don't get it. That guy's on my team, 7 days a week, 24/7. You could read between the lines. There's a few guys in the Lightning that made it. John Cooper is the coach. If you're in his shoes, and we're not, so we disagree with it, but if you're in his shoes, he's won with Anthony Cirelli and those guys. So he wanted those guys. And, I'm not disparaging any other player. Nick Suzuki's having a terrific season for Montreal, but, Team Canada made its choice. If it's me, I'm with you. That guy's on my team 24/7, 365. He did say yesterday, it was kind of unknown whether or not he was one of the alternates. So he did say yesterday in the locker room after the morning skate that he did get a text that he is an alternate. So there's still a chance he ends up going because, as there's still a month to go. And unfortunately, the way this sport is, each team's probably going to have a couple injuries.
Because I immediately went where I think a lot of people went is like this feels like a petty maneuver by Lightning Panther bleeding into the Canadian national team. Because Goldie, like when you're doing a Lightning game now, do you just expect, first of all, who the hell are they bringing up, and are you just expecting Royal Rumble every time that these teams square off?
You mean Ogie Oglethorpe from Slap Shop is being called? I mean, yeah, that Scott Sabrin thing of just calling guys up on game day. I don't really know what Tampa's trying to accomplish, except maybe the Panthers just so in their head from not only eliminating them the last 2 years, but some of the games were close, but winning 8 out of 10 is 8 out of 10. Both series only went 5 games. It is what it is. I will say this. Before the Four Nations last year, I spoke to John Cooper, and, he told me, like, face to face, like, he loves Sam Bennett, and he wants Sam Bennett on his team. He needs Sam Bennett on that team. So this is not just a flat-out case of John Cooper saying, I don't like that guy, I don't want him on my team, because last year he did want him on the Four Nations and they did win it. So I'm not sure, there's a GM, he's only the coach. Everybody has a say. I'm guessing the coach gets to pick a certain number of players, that he definitely wants. There's a cap on that. And you had some other guys like Suzuki who are having good seasons. So I'm guessing it was kind of a numbers game. It would be great for the rivalry, as if we need any more in the rivalry. If John Cooper was shunning him, I really don't think that's the case.
Talking to Steve Goldstein, and you guys can catch him tomorrow on Randy Moeller as they broadcast Panthers and Canadiens, of course, as they continue their road trip. Before we get you out of here, Goldie, just getting back to Barkey, Matthew Tkachuk said he's a freak in the rehab. He was telling Eric Spoelstra back in training, I'm going to be back in 5 months. Have you seen him walking around? Is there any buzz on a freak recovery from Barkov? Anything on that at all?
Well, I was surprised at the Winter Classic practice on New Year's Day when he was out there. Now, he wasn't in uniform. He had the big, huge brace on his leg and on his knee, but he was on skates 3 months after reconstructive knee surgery. So it is encouraging. Look, this is such a wild card because, as you know, number one, from the team standpoint, the league has changed the rules. I'm sure you know this. You cannot be over the salary cap anymore in the playoffs. So if you're the Panthers and, the trading deadline is literally 2 months away, do you make the determination that he can't come back and use his money? Do you make sure you save it? I think he's probably earned that.
Right.
If you know he's coming back for the first round, then you definitely don't use his money. If he, under the cap, if he can't come back until, and I think kind of the latest or the average one was maybe the third round of the playoffs. Well, you got to first get to the third round of the playoffs in order for him to come back. So I think it's anywhere, honestly, from the end of the regular season, which is in April, to maybe the middle of May. And that was always the timetable. It's like a 6-week window. And obviously it makes a huge difference if he can play in the regular season, especially if you need those games to make the playoffs. So, it's up in the air. They got to make a lot of decisions on it. But yes, there's no doubt. If anybody can come back quicker, it's him. The guy is in incredible shape, and 24/7, all he's doing, whether it's on the ice, in the gym, resting, whatever it is, all he's doing is the best that he could possibly do to come back as soon as he can. We definitely know that.
I love the grainy videos of him at a park, just seeming like he's doing like Tai Chi on his knee, just to whatever he can.
People are stalking him.
I know.
South Florida. Like, where was that? Was that up in Boca at a park? I don't even know.
I think so. It's on Panthers Reddit. Like, you just go and check it out. You can see all the grainy stalking photos of Barky. Goldie, appreciate the time. Have a great broadcast and safe travels.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. See you soon.
There you go. Steve Goldie Goldstein. Go check him out. Randy Moeller tomorrow. Panthers and Canadiens. And they obviously do a fantastic job. Of course, you're home of the Panthers right here on FM 104.3 WQAM. Doug Plagans, Billy Lindsay do a great job on the radio. The Cats will be back tomorrow taking on Montreal. We'll take a break. More to come here on the show. We're back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Tobin and Leroy here with you. Brittney with us here today. We got Canes action tomorrow, the Fiesta Bowl. I have so much guacamole for tomorrow's game. Cannot wait. Canes.
Are you gonna have You're gonna have themed food?
Yes. I think I may. What do you refer to somebody? You ever go to Rocco's Tacos? What do they refer to the person who makes the guac there? Is that a avocado shucker? I don't know what they like. I know when you go to like if you go to like a seafood restaurant and you have conch, like they shuck the conch, like ting, 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 and they do the oysters, right? They shuck oysters. Like, what do you call somebody who just makes the guac? Is that person referred to as an avocado shucker?
I don't know. I think you've really I don't think there's a name for it.
That guy doesn't have a name?
I really don't think he does.
This is a guacaneer.
Guacaneer, guacologist. You can.
I love guacologist from Evan 11. That's great.
Yeah, guacologist is a good one. We'll go with that.
That is tremendous.
So you're going to become a guacologist tomorrow?
Yes, I am going to be a guacologist getting ready for it because I am going to watch it now. Hopefully I'm not, because I mean, it's going to be a hungover show on Friday, hopefully. Well, probably either way.
Well, either way, I was going to say.
I'll either drink my sadness in tequila or I will celebrate with tequila.
I'll just have like tears streaming down my face during the Miami Heat post game show.
They're like, Brittney, you're getting very emotional for the Heat beating the Bulls. Just the Wolves loss. So tough.
So good to see them bounce back. These are tears of joy.
Schmeeth and Schmoy says, well, he'll sure as hell never become a treadmillologist. You just couldn't help yourself, could you, Schmeethan? You're just really a bastard. I was alerted to this during the break by Stunt and Steve. There's a press conference that apparently just wrapped up in Arizona, and the mayor of Tempe has gifted the coaches a fruit basket. And well, how do you imagine that would have gone with giving Mario Cristobal a gift right now?
I would have to imagine there was a very smug look on his face.
You would be, well, I don't know about smug, but he looks like he has no time for this fruit basket that the mayor has presented with him, because if you could notice here how much he seems to hate this fruit basket that has been given to him. I'm looking at a tweet from Jordan McPherson, covers the Canes for the Miami Herald, and it's, you have Pete Golding, the interim coach of Ole Miss, who looks quite delighted with his giant fruit basket.
He seems absolutely thrilled.
He's happy to have his fruit basket. And then you have Mario, who looks like he wants to throw this fruit basket right into the mayor's face.
That's bad.
Because he has zero time for gifts right now, because the only thing he wants to gift is an ass kicking to Ole Miss. He has zero time for that gift.
That is the best photo I think I've ever seen.
He is pissed.
He's locked in.
He's like, there are no time for gifts when we are doing football. When football is happening, no gifts. I mean, that scowl that he has.
And Golding is just thrilled. Like, he couldn't be happier.
He's so happy that the mayor, he's like, I never thought I never get gifts. Lane Kiffin always got the gifts. Sometimes I get leftover gifts, but I have this gift of this giant fruit basket, and he seems, what's in that fruit basket? What's he got? Looks like some hot sauce, some coffee.
So would it be considered a fruit basket? I was thinking actual fruit here.
Yeah, maybe more like a gift basket. Maybe that's the better term for it. But
I see, it looks like lotion. I don't even know.
I mean, this
chocolate?
the look on Mario Cristobal's face. If you guys are listening to us, like the mayor farted next to him. That is the look of disgust he has right now, because he's so focused on football right now. Like, he's like, there's a picture that Will Manso tweeted out where he's getting it and the guy is speaking, and Mario Cristobal just could be like, he couldn't be any less thrilled with being presented with any kind of pleasantry.
Yeah, he's
looking at him like, you're not football. And I know that Coach Golding behind that basket, I can't see his face in this picture, but I know that he's cheesing and he's trying to be happy.
Just throw.
And Mario Cristobal is just like, nope.
Absolutely not. I'm throwing this in the trash as soon as I get out
Yeah,
here.
I have no interest in this.
That's amazing. I mean, he was the same smug look that he had when he went face to face with Ryan Day at Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, that's
when they
true.
had their press conference.
The stare down. Mario does seem to love boxing and fighting. He seems to love the stare down of it, the machismo of it.
Yeah.
He Tate South says, you know what's in Mario's basket? Tuff.
No.
Yeah, that's it. Just here you go, Mario.
I think he would have been happier with air.
I think if anybody's trying that at the next bowl game, not that I'm looking ahead, you might want to just give Mario a basket of nothing. Just give him a handshake. You know, that's what Mario cares about. Just a firm handshake and welcome here. But the mayor's giving him gifts. That's not what he's about. He's not. He is right now singing. And imagine who's like Dawson will take the gift basket because imagine he's gonna try and give the gift basket to Heatherman and he's like, and Heatherman's just gonna stare at it.
I would love to see the photo of Heatherman receiving a gift basket. That would be the photo of all photos.
It's a basket full of rawhide. Like, this is crazy. Why would you try that?
Oh,
it's
man.
Like, oh, that looked like a nice. He's like, oh, and multiple people are pointing out, like, man, he looks on social media, like people are starting to notice, like, wow, he looks really, really unhappy getting any kind of a gift from this committee.
You know that mayor is gonna go home, lay his head down on his pillow tonight, and be like, "What was I thinking?
Yeah, why did I do that?
This is so embarrassing."
You don't think like, Mr. Mayor, don't give it to Mario. Pipe down, Todd the intern. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't think he's gonna like it. And that's and this is the oh, great. Did you get a key to the city? No, the dude gave me a basket of Tabasco.
There's like a hydro flask in there. I'm like dissecting the actual gift basket.
Yeah, what do we got? Yeah, we got like a thermos. Oh no, so you did mention the lotion.
Yeah, it looks like a lotion bottle there, doesn't it?
He's never lotioned.
Very odd. Very odd.
Mario Cristobal, he lotions his hands with hands in the dirt. That's what he does. What's the moisturizer, Mario? Gridiron. Like, he has no. Why would he give him that? There's no point. He's focused on the biggest game of his life,
of his career,
and you're just sitting here and you're like, "Oh, would you guys like a nice little trinket?" No.
He's like, "What is this? What are they? Are you mocking me right now? Are you trying to get me?" He's gonna go in the the hype speech before the game is gonna be like, "And the mayor gave me a gift basket. So we're gonna embarrass everyone out on this field now."
I think he's gonna stomp on that basket after beating Ole Miss. Like, he's gonna put it in the middle of the locker room and he's gonna ask Ruben Bain to like put it in a suplex. Just like, throw this, Ruben, whatever you want to do. And Golding's so happy. He's just like, this is
He's
great.
Just happy to be there.
I'm gonna give this to the missus. He's already thinking about, I'm gonna give this to the missus. This is nice. I got all types of things here, you know. You think Mario Cristobal just goes like, here, take mine.
Yeah. I would be like, do you want mine?
Yeah, take mine.
And let me tell you.
Or he just leaves it.
Oh my gosh. Someone should stay past the press conference to see if he leaves, because he absolutely would do. And then Golding like goes back and he's like grabs it. He like sneakily grabs it. He's like, someone should give me this before Christmas. I could re-gift it.
He's just so disturbed by anything here. I cannot wait.
Oh, don't even bring. I get like goosebumps thinking about it.
Like when they go to these interviews too, and he's just like, Mario, what are your thoughts? Violence. Thank you, Mario. Thank you, Coach. All right, back to you guys. Like those interviews. I don't understand why they have to do those interviews anyway. Like, even as a media member, like, I appreciate the access. I really do not see the purpose in interviewing the college coach literally right before the game starts.
Yeah.
I don't know what are you thinking right now? And I don't even know whoever thought that was a good idea, because it seems like we're just getting more of it. And I'm like, why are we getting this? This doesn't in the middle of the game. Fine. I don't understand why we do it right before kickoff. Seems very strange.
No, I was going to say my favorite interviews that perplex me are the halftime interviews when the team is down and you go and talk to the coach whose team is down. It's like, what are you doing? What are you expecting the answer to be, other than just like annoyance? Same thing with like pregame. I get it. But I mean, it's the day before. We got some media obligations that you have to uphold.
Even I'm looking at some of these photos where he's standing next to the trophy, and once again, like Golding, pleasant, just this is nice photo op. Mario Cristobal, ready to punch this guy in the face, ready to punch him right in the face. It's insane. He's so mad.
He's so angry.
Why am I here? Why am I hobnobbing right now? I don't want to hobnob. I want to coach.
Oh, you could just tell he came from the Saban tree of coaching by that look.
He's just like, he needs to get this out of his system. He needs to go hit a blocking sled or something like that.
He calls all the guys. He's like, we're actually going to practice today.
I need practice, and what we're going to hit today is a fruit basket I was just given. And you're going to imagine that as all of the rebels.
Yes.
Crazy. I mean, this guy is a maniac.
He's insane.
Absolutely a maniac. JFig goes, it's a waste of time. This is an audacity to give me this fruit basket.
Like that's every single thing that's going through his mind at that moment. And the mayor's just like, here you go.
Yeah, I don't think he wants any celebrations until it's the celebration. I really don't.
No, I agree. And it's crazy how that mask comes off with him because the intensity he carries out before the game, and then once they win, it's like he's joking about like Cubans on ESPN with Nick Saban the day after, and you're just like, wait, who's this guy? Is this the same guy they gave a fruit basket to?
Guy says, could you imagine a conversation with Mike McDaniel, Mario Cristobal, and how fast Mario would just get up and walk away?
I would pay so much money to see that.
This is what would happen. If Mario this is the difference between the two of them is like, if Mike McDaniel was given a fruit basket at some kind of committee.
I'm a big snack time guy.
He's going to be delighted.
Yeah, he would be thrilled. He would talk about it in his post-game call. He's like, did you guys see the fruit basket that I received?
This is delightful. Look at this. I got all kinds of, what is this? Is that Dubai chocolate?
Is this a hydro flask?
This is amazing.
This is great. And then I you know what? A media member needs to go out on the limb and take one for the team and ask him about the fruit basket.
When's he so? Yeah, you think Joe can ask him about that? Can we get Joe to ask him way were you so upset about the fruit basket?
We should ask Joe. We should. Or when he comes back from the Fiesta Bowl, ask Joe to be like, so what were your real thoughts?
I bet he's just like, what fruit basket? Like he doesn't even remember.
He's like, I don't even know what you're saying.
Like I blacked out. Well, I'm just so furious right now because it's not football. But Mike McDaniel, that dude would love a fruit basket.
He would,
no doubt in my mind. It's crazy. I cannot wait though. Tomorrow, 7:30. Brian Monroe is going to join us next hour. We will talk a little Miami Hurricanes with him. You guys will hear him tomorrow on Countdown to Kickoff starting at 3. And we'll get into that as well. Miami Heat, they lose last night to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And that didn't go so great. And you want to talk about pissed off. Spo was pissed off afterwards. Tyler Herro sounds pretty pissed off to be coming off the bench again. As he made his return, first time in 11 games, his 7th game of the season. And yeah, they got embarrassed. I mean, it was an utter ass kicking that they handed in. And honestly, the thing that was rough about it is like they just kind of got throttled by all the bigs because Ant-Man played good. He played good, but it wasn't like a primo Ant-Man game. They got their butts kicked by Naz Reid again. Julius Randle started hitting a prayer. They went on this 3-point run at the end of the third quarter. And Bam stunk. Wiggins stunk. Ware stunk. They all stunk. And then everybody was missing layups. It was just an awful, awful performance. And it ruined my experience because I was so excited because it was on NBC and you got to see the Peacock out there and you got the round ball rock. I was so excited for round ball rock for the first time. It was going to be Heat basketball, and they all got the big intros, and I was like, this is amazing. I cannot wait to hear what we got going on, and all I got was just one good quarter, and this was ruined for me. That's all. That's it.
You're giving me PTSD. Do you know how many times I had to hear and play that yesterday?
It's the greatest sports music of all time.
It is, but it's supposed to bring joy and nostalgia. It didn't. It just was painful. You're down by 20, and I'm here playing a rejoin.
You guys
Oh.
played it every time?
No, we played it with SOTs, and then we played at the very beginning of the broadcast. But every SOT had it under. So we're down by like 20, and they're
You
like,
guys know you're not NBC, right?
that's what, I was thinking this. I was
You're
like,
not
are we
NBC.
even allowed to play this?
Well, I think maybe not, but like you're not in, like, I don't know, whatever. Who cares? Anyway, we'll take a break. If you guys didn't hear last night, I want to get into this because Eric Spoelstra, quite frosty. Tyler Herro, quite frosty after the game, after he got their butts kicked. Get to that coming up next. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you. Leroy is off today, a couple days. He actually said he might pop on tomorrow. We'll see. It is game day. Brian Monroe is going to join us later on this hour. We'll talk some Canes with him as the Miami Hurricanes getting set. We are on GM watch. Miami Dolphins are in the midst of their general manager interviews to try and figure out who's going to run this clown show. Whose chance is it now to run the Dolphins and try and get their first playoff win, and what'll go on to 26 years for the Finns. And everybody's excited and got the gooses yesterday because John Harbaugh got let go by the Ravens, and so he's kind of the first sexy name that's out there. I kind of see this. This doesn't seem like this Tomlin stuff's going anywhere, though. So I guess it depends if they beat who they got. They got Houston, right? They got Houston on, I think, Monday night is their game. So we'll see on that. And we'll get to our headlines here this hour, which are brought to you by Doral Kia. You always pay less with your Pricito at Doral Kia. Visit us at Doral Kia or DoralKia.com. The Heat, they got smoked by the Timberwolves, 122-94. I talked in the first hour about how much Bam stunk yesterday. So if you don't think that I talked about that, I did. I want to get to the Tyler Herro thing here because Tyler didn't play bad yesterday. But it does just happen to be whenever he does come back that they don't score. I don't know what that is. I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying that just is what it is. Now, the interesting thing that we said going into yesterday's game was that Herro, was he going to start or was he going to come off the bench? And you're such a bastard, Schmeathan. Didn't see any ant hobnobbing yesterday, did we, Chunks? Jesus, dude. No, he was getting interviewed. He was in the winner's circle with NBC. Bam wasn't allowed to hobnob with him. I think he wanted to. It looked like he wanted to. They kind of did like a, all right. Perhaps that was my fault, though. Maybe I started up. Maybe me giving too much attention to the last time. They didn't feel like they could be inconspicuous.
I think you're reaching.
What do you mean?
I could tell that he really wanted to hobnob.
Oh, he wanted to hobnob. Certainly didn't want to score baskets yesterday. Bam looked in a hobnobbing mood, not a buckets mood. Ridiculous. But Tyler yesterday came off the bench. And look, dude, I don't know what to do with this, but I'm going to play first Eric Spoelstra, who, look, I understand he's pissed. They played terrible. He started off his press conference basically being like, we had no fight. We didn't, give any effort into it like we should have. And I was like, all right. So he obviously wasn't pleased, but he was asked a completely fair question by Ira Winderman about the Tyler Herro coming off the bench thing. And this is what Spo's response to it all was.
Play Tyler off the bench. Was that a minutes thing or was that just?
That's just a decision.
And your thoughts going
I'm not
forward?
going to get into any of that right now.
His 29 minutes today, is that about what you were looking at coming in, or is that
Yeah,
just like
roughly.
an intern? And his thought with that second unit, what did you think that looked like with him out there?
Yeah, for stretches, I thought the unit looked good, and then there was other stretches where, the unit, was getting beat by Minnesota. So we'll work on all of it. We didn't have enough of a fight, tonight.
Yeah, that's not great. Not too pleased there.
That's rough.
Yeah, it was a decision. I'm not going to get into that. Well, I mean, when? So I'm going to play Herro's post game now because there was only like 90 seconds yesterday. But there was, I want to know if anybody noticed where it got a little frosty from Boy Wonder after the game yesterday. This is what he had to say after the Heat lost.
Wins, but because you've been out so long and haven't played a lot this season, it just had to be nice to be back on an NBA floor playing basketball.
That's right. It just felt good to be, back healthy, back on the court. Obviously, would like to have won the game, but just felt good to be healthy.
do you feel like the progress is from here as the trip goes on, as you ramp up to the spot where you want to be?
Just keep myself healthy. Just want to be healthy. That's about it.
What was it like out there as far as, did you feel you had your win? Did you feel you were yourself? I don't know if you want to put percentages on it, but just to sort of offer some perspective, I guess I'll ask, what percentage of Tyler Herro do you think you were?
Felt good. So, like I said, just being out there, it was my biggest, thing that I wanted to feel, and that's how I feel. I felt good. So
It's the only third game since you played off the bench since you won the six-man award. Obviously, it's a little different. What was that adjustment like?
It's cool. It's not really an adjustment, just playing basketball.
And is that something that if coach wants to keep things copacetic the way they are, you'll just move forward through? If he wants to keep things the way they are before you came back, or is it something you're pushing for?
Ask him.
And just as far as the games going forward now, is it just straight ahead, or is that something where you're going to have to sort of?
Yeah, like I said, I'm healthy, so just want to be available and be healthy.
Awesome. Ask him, dude. Enough.
Well, he had similar answers in during shoot around sound yesterday as well.
He did, not quite with that tone.
No, I mean the ask the coach is still a little bit. Now it's just ask him. I mean, I heard his pregame, his shoot around sound, and I was kind of like, oh.
It's never not going to be something that bothers him. He was an all-star last year. He thinks of himself as a star. He obviously wants to get paid like a star. And now you have, Norman Powell here kind of being the lead dog on this team. The problem here with Herro, where I don't think that he has as much of a leg to stand on, is he just hasn't been available. That's been the biggest issue. And it's honestly, to be honest with you, all the flaws that Tyler Herro people like to throw at his feet. The defense, not a big time player. The biggest issue is availability. It's not even close. He's obviously a very talented player. I believe him to be a hard worker, not a nefarious bone in the body, but the availability has been an issue. And I think that the Heat were like, hey, we are playing better basketball right now. They had won 4 out of 5. We're going to keep this rolling. And we didn't have Jaime, because I don't even know when Jaime comes back. I don't even know if that's the best thing to have Herro still on the bench. Maybe it is to rock and put Davion back on the bench. I don't know what the answer is. I don't foresee a healthy Tyler Herro. I don't know if he'll be on the bench the entire time, but I totally thought that was the way they were going to go with him first coming back. But it's bothered him since he was the 6th man of the year. He didn't want to be the 6th man of the year when he was the best guy at doing it in the league. And I honestly thought it came to a good start because the ball was popping. He hit a 3 right away. Him and Davion found him in the corner. But the only thing with him yesterday, because Tyler probably had one of the better game scorers, the only damn person who could put it in the basket besides Norm, was it was another one of those weird games. He didn't want to shoot threes. Like there was a couple times where I thought the ball got to him and you just like him to rise up and just take the shot because he's one of the best 3-point shooters on the team, and he wouldn't do it. But I don't know. It does make you wonder, like, does this feel like we're getting to a point where this run is going to come to an end?
I think it has to, and I think you have to do it before the season's over.
Right.
Because if you get into free agency, then you get nothing for him.
Yeah. And for the people in the chat who are like, you're letting Bam off. Look, I literally spent my entire first segment calling him garbage today. Like, he was terrible in the game. Rudy Gobert stuffed him in a locker, put a beret on him, and stuffed a croissant in his mouth. It was terrible. He was terrible. I don't really have anything to like, but he stunk now for, a very handful of games. I'm talking about this because it's not really Tyler played okay yesterday. I'm not blaming Tyler as to why they lost. He certainly was far from the biggest issue yesterday. Not even close. Does it coincide with him coming back? I mean, it does, but it's not. I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying that just happens to be how it's lined up every time he's come back. But I am wondering about the Heat and Tyler Herro's relationship because I don't think Spo's sitting here hand-holding. I think he's just like, we're rolling. I'm gonna do it how I want to do it, and feelings be damned.
Yeah.
And that's that right now. Like, he hasn't been available enough for me to feel like he did it the last time when he came back. He put him out there, put him back in the starting lineup. He might be back in the starting lineup this next game. Maybe they have a practice today and they feel like it goes better and he'll be back in the starting lineup. And maybe I'm reading too much into it because they had a bad loss. They got embarrassed and everybody was pissed.
No, I don't think you are. I think from the game before, from Sunday, with him being available, being dressed out and sitting on the bench, and even, Spo's smugness in those questions and answers, plus added on to, I still think that on shoot around sound, like I said, there was still some frogginess there from Tyler Herro.
Frostiness is
what I meant to say. Yes,
he was feeling froggy.
He was feeling better. I know it would be. There was frostiness from Tyler Herro there too. So I feel like there is an issue, and now you have to have the question of, have you seen enough of this Heat team with Tyler Herro, and is it time to move on?
Well, I think that's a fair question with everything. I don't think that's just even a Tyler question, to be honest with you. Like, I know they're not going to trade Bam, and for the people who get at Bam and criticize Bam, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not saying that he's above that. When you're the max guy and you're going to make, 47, 54, and $60 million over the next 3 years, and you're the max player on the team, you get to wear the criticism. That's why I'm not getting on Kel'el Ware for yesterday. Like, Kel'el Ware is a baby. He's going to have rough spurts. If you can't accept that, tough. Like, there's going to be ups and downs with him.
But I think
with Bam, he's 28 years old. His offense is the worst season he's put up in a long time. He seems almost more lost on top of building a brick house than anything. And I don't want to hear about him. Oh, I have to adjust to the system. And dude, enough of that nonsense. Like, you're not here screening guys open like you were years where you had to get everybody open and dribble hands, all that stuff. Like, you are just missing. That's it. That's what it is with him. And so I think the Heat do, because this was my point with the Kevin Durant thing, Brittney. When the Miami Heat didn't want to go in on Kevin Durant, who, by the way, still hitting game-winning shots, still awesome, Kevin Durant. But my whole thing with not going after Kevin Durant was, as nice as Norm Powell has been, and he's been nice, you couldn't ask for a better addition than Norm. But if you weren't going to add Durant to Bam and Tyler and think that was going to be any kind of good in this East, which is very muddled, and which is very annoying because the Celtics, who cast everybody off, are the 2 seed right now and knocking on the door being the top seed. And you're sitting here being like, still years. Are these guys the guys? Like, when are you going to make a choice? And that's been my whole thing, is like, this has been a nice season. There's been nice moments. There's been fun stuff. Most of it has been from the young guys and the new guys. Most of it has been, hey, Norman Powell's been awesome. Most of it has been, Kel'el Ware looks like an all-world talent. Most of it has been, hey, Nico's starting to figure it out. Hey, Yakachonis had a nice game. But the guys who have been here, like, there's been a couple of Bam games, for sure. Bam still does winning things, all right. And then Tyler hasn't played. And these have been things like Bam Adebayo not being aggressive enough on offense and Tyler Herro's availability and role on the team are so played out in Heat fans' minds as topics to talk about. We're tired of it, dude. It's annoying. I'm sure they're annoyed by it. We're annoyed by it. Okay? Nice guys. Great dudes. Very talented players. But I am so tired about wondering whether Bam's going to flip the switch to be a guy who can carry offensively night to night. Seems like the answer is a resounding no. Doesn't mean he can't be valuable to a team, but it's a lot of value when you're paying him that kind of dough. And coinciding with that, Tyler Herro, who wanted to get, it's just going to be less expensive, $50 million a year, then we can negotiate it. Well, now it's like, dude, would you even extend this person? He can't stay on the court.
I don't think you can. He doesn't, and he's not going to stay if he doesn't get his extension. I think he's made that very loud and clear by his demeanor and basically directly as well. And you can't be naive, and we can't be naive and sit here and say like the same temperature that Spo has for Tyler Herro is the same temperature as he has for Bam Adebayo. He does not speak ill of Bam Adebayo, even if Bam has a terrible game. It's always, he does things that nobody.
Yeah.
That if you don't have a basketball mind, and this is that and the third, you won't understand the value of Bam Adebayo on the court. So I don't think Bam's going anywhere. The person that is in the massive question right now is Tyler. People can be mad at Bam all they want. It's to me, Pat Riley nor Spo are going to get rid of him.
Crimson says Bam is Mr. Perfect. No, there's a little bit of that. He's a little bit of the Heat teachers, Pat.
He is.
But look, I do think there is. I think the reason he gets more reprieve on that is because he does all the things that Spo really values as a coach. Like, look, he's been the coach now for 18 years. He finally just got with the offense for the first time since like the big three of changing things around to finally put some juice into it. He's a defensive coach. Comes to Pat Riley, comes at the knee of Pat Riley, and the anchor for all of that is Bam Adebayo. That is what has made it tick. You're not gonna ask a guy for 5 years to go bang with people who are who are probably way too big for him. But on the other side of that, look, if Bam wants to be going against 3s and 4s and not 5s anymore, then you got to start scoring like one of them. You can't sit here and be like, oh, well, I'm one of the, like, you're either one of the best big men centers or you're not. And for Tyler's standpoint, like, to be honest with you, dude, like, there's nothing to mope about right now. You have played 7 games. And is the team, like, excellent to just forget about you? No. But they're also not terrible. And like, they're trying to get on some kind of a run here. And they just can't count on your health. That's the truth of it. They've never been able to count on your health. It's a frustrating thing, but even in Jimmy's last full year, couldn't count on his health. The only year that you were healthy was the year where all the Jimmy stuff was going to hell. But when they were in the midst of not getting Dame and you were out here after the Dame rumors, hurt that year. Made it a finals run, hurt that year. Made an Eastern Conference Finals run, weren't ready till Game 7, and you weren't even able to play in that game. So, I mean, like, the moodiness is frustrating. But I think for the most part, the fans are just tired of these two and being plagued with the same questions all the time. We get it. And so the Heat have to decide with this team, what are the pieces they really believe in and what's going to get you guys back to being a real contender. This is nice. There's respect in what you guys have been doing. For sure. You've never packed it in. But you're spinning your wheels here, man. And this was my point with the Kevin Durant thing. You didn't want to go and make a balls move to add to Tyler and Bam. Why? Because I don't think you guys really believe in them either.
Well, I think that's the thing. I think as soon as you don't give Tyler the extension after last season, and you just say, okay, well, we're going to renegotiate your contract at the end of this season, that's you basically saying that no matter what he proved to you last season, it's still not good enough. And do you think, I personally think that Tyler Herro's ceiling was what we saw from him last season. So if the Heat didn't feel confident enough to give him a contract after that, what makes you think that after this season where you've played 7 games and you have this, mood about you, that you're going to get that?
Ask him.
Third game since you've played off the bench since you went to the 6-man award. Obviously, it's a little different. What was that adjustment like?
It's cool. It's not really an adjustment, just playing basketball.
And is that something that if coach wants to keep things copacetic the way they are, you'll just move forward through? If he wants to keep things the way they were before you came back, or is it something you're pushing for?
Ask him.
Awesome.
For Sass.
Crazy, man. I want to get back to fun. Man, November was awesome. So much fun. And they're going to win these next 2 games, and they're going to tease me again. And they're going to be OKC. And they'll play OKC good for 2 quarters, and then they'll get thumped.
That's how the season has gone. They show you flashes of it, but ultimately,
Tyler's going to come out. He's going to hit 6 threes against the Bulls, and everybody's going to be like, see? And then, he'll do it, and then they'll hit 5 threes against, and Norman him will be Splash Brothers against the terrible Pacers, and then the Thunder will be there, and they'll have an amazing first quarter, and then Chet Holmgren will dunk on Bam's head, and, Lou Dort will stuff Tyler Herro in a locker. It'll be like, we'll do this whole thing again on Monday. At least the Canes will be in the national championship.
Stop.
Sorry. I apologize.
Stop.
I apologize. We'll take a break. Back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy here with you on FM 104.3 WQAM as we take you up until 2. Going to go out to the Toyota of Hollywood guest lounge. Over 2,000 Toyotas on sale at one location, Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan, toyotaofhollywood.com. We got what they refer to in the sports game as a biggin tomorrow. The Fiesta Bowl. Miami Hurricanes, Ole Miss. You, of course, can hear that game right here on WQAM. Countdown to kickoff starts at 3 o'clock. And you'll be able to hear this man, Brian Monroe, joining us on the program. You'll be hearing him on Countdown to Kickoff. Brian, what's going on, man? How are you?
What's up, man? I'm already nervous, but I'm excited, ready to get out there.
I think we're all like a little nervous / very, very excited. Brittney can barely contain herself. She's very, very nervous for tomorrow's game. What is it like? Are you nervous just because of the stakes? Are you nervous about the matchup? What do you think has you feeling that way?
I'm nervous about the stakes. Oh, talking to me or?
Go ahead, Brittney. You can tell us what you're nervous
I'm so
about.
sorry.
Too.
That was so embarrassing. You go ahead.
Now, Brittany, let's hear it. I would say generally as an alum, you get nervous before any game because you really can't do anything about it. But you look at the stakes of this game is that you're talking about one more road win and you're back home to play for your 6th national championship. That has to get you the most nervous because, I mean, who doesn't want to win it at the crib?
Is there what is the thing about Ole Miss that like concerns you the most? Is it the QB? Is it just the speed of their offense? What do you think? What I guess in comparison to what the Canes have gone up against already?
I'd probably say the high tempo offense, and also obviously Trinidad Chambliss is playing at a high level. I think he had damn near a perfect game last game, throwing for 362, 2 touchdowns, and just improvising with his feet. And then you got Kewan Lacey, who is an absolute stud and a beast of a running back. But I think the thing that makes you more comfortable with our defense is that we've been battle tested when it came to dual threat quarterbacks. Obviously, we faced Texas A&M in the first game, even though there was a lot of wind. That was one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the SEC. You go up against Ohio State, who has one of the best offenses in the country. They're battle tested, and I think the big thing that people are overlooking is that Ole Miss's first 2 games were people that already played before, that they already knew what could potentially happen. This is going to be a new week for a team they haven't played the game plan with. I don't know what, 6 coaches, 4 coaches gone, whatever, Lane's stealing from them.
Crazy. The whole like, what do you make of all this? This is like a wild thing to see, the Wild West of college sports these days. Like, do you like this, or I think there's a lot of fun in it because new is always fun, change is fun for fan bases, but I think it's crazy that these timelines match up like this.
Yeah, I think the timeline's screwing the teams that are in the college football playoff, right? Because it's like you're not benefiting them because you can't go recruit a lot of the guys that are in the transfer portal. And we see that, Miami is, I think, brought in 2 guys already, and that's it. And we haven't anybody signed. But, Indiana is crushing it right now, and a couple other teams are crushing it. So I think the timeline needs to change when it comes to the transfer portal.
Have you seen today any of the stuff circulating Twitter of Mario Cristobal getting his gift basket from the mayor of Tempe?
I did not. I've been all over the place with work and trying to get ready, but what happened?
We're gonna delight you right now because look how little time Mario Cristobal has for this gift basket. He is so locked in right now. For those who haven't, he's getting this gift basket from the mayor, and Ole Miss's coach seems delighted. And Mario Cristobal looks like he could not care any less about these gifts. He is all locked in.
Well, it's Mario. It's a business trip. It's 1-0. Like, this isn't the prize. The prize isn't to win the Fiesta Bowl. The prize is to get to number 6. And, Mario said it when he first came in 4 years ago that the U is not where it needs to be. And I'm going to do everything I can to get it back. And here we are in year 4, and we're in a semifinal. So we're in the right direction.
How impressed have you been with this defense? We were talking about Corey Heatherman earlier in the show today, and just he looks like a maniac because he just doesn't change. Like, he's always intense. But what they've done, I think, is incredible just from year to year. Like, to be where they were last year to this year, I can't believe it, Brian. Like, I don't know what to do with my hands when I'm watching these games and seeing how they get after these teams.
Yeah, I think it was, probably the best hire in the offseason of any school, because if you look at where we were last year, we're getting gashed. But I think the biggest thing with Corey Heatherman that, we talked about it before was he's a teacher first, right? So, and if you look at on our staff, the best, assistant coach would probably be Alex Mirabal. And what was he? He was a teacher first. So he knows how to, help different kids in a way that they learn and understand and process different information. I mean, listen, I hang with a lot of, former defensive players, and, they're like, we haven't seen this team hit as violent, as swarming since we played in the early 2000s. So it's one of those things that we always say, why couldn't it be us? Why isn't our defense playing like this? Why isn't our offense explosive like this? And you know what? We have that defense that is best defense in America right now. I can't say anybody that's a better defense in America, and a better tandem on the outside, and I think a better tandem in the secondary with Keontae Scott and Jacoby Thomas.
How do you think already that the legacy of this team is going to be? Just because it's a different dynamic, right? Like, you have a playoff system. It's not like it used to be. And this team really, I mean, they had to wait on all this television nonsense to find out if they would get their chance, but they got their chance and they've shined. And I do feel like there's just, it's something that all you guys seem to have a lot of pride in, that they seem like they're living up to the school in a big, big way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's this class and this team is like riding the ship of what we wanted to be back in the day and always wanted to see Miami be at. But I also, you can look at the local kids, right? Because the one thing local recruits always say is, oh, well, if they want a little bit more, I would stay home. But I'm going to go to Michigan that hasn't won anything in 50 years, but I'm going to go there anyway. So you can't look at a recruit now. And I mean, recruits can't look at us and say, well, you guys don't win anything. You can't be competitive. I can't be in the league. I can't get paid. Well, everything's here at the U right now, and you can stay home and put on for your city.
Do you feel like Ruben Bain is up there now with like the scariest guys who have played defense for the Canes? Because it's incredible watching him.
Absolutely. And if you look at it, right, everyone says, oh, the sacks numbers. I'm like, well, it's not all about the sacks. Like, look how much he disrupts the game. Look at the pressures. Look at the run stopping. I mean, he was damn near to getting hold the last game when he made that tackle for loss on the outside. Ruben is Ruben, and this whole, your arm length isn't, big enough to make it to this and that. Again, he's just one of those guys that just puts his head down and works. He's not going to talk any trash until after the game, and after the game, he's going to talk trash. But yeah, he's got to be put up there as one of the better defenders that has walked through the U.
You got to feel like Ole Miss has learned the lesson too. Like, I don't feel like I've seen. I know there was like one wide receiver kind of tiptoed around it. But like the last 2 weeks of guys feeling too froggy going against the Canes, they've had to have learned their lesson. That's just a bad idea to mess with these guys.
I mean, if you look at the defense, what are you, back-to-back 7 sacks, then 5 sacks, 7 tackles for a loss. I mean, picks after picks, fumble recoveries, disruptive big hits. If you want to talk, go ahead, because our guys aren't going to talk. They're going to do it on the field. And again, they're going to come with ill intention. They're going to take your head off, and they're going to do it in a clean way. But you saw Carnell Tate in the second half with the alligator arms, and I've seen this Ole Miss team a couple times in the second half. You hit them a couple times, those arms are going to get short.
I was so impressed this last game, that last drive, Chamar Brown being able to come through. Dude, like he was cold the entire game, and for him to come through like that, what was your reaction when you saw that from him?
I mean, listen, he did it in a big time area, earlier in the year. Obviously, we got the hot hand with Fletcher later in the year. But, it's Cristobal always said, like, there's going to be talent upon talent, but when your number's called, you got to produce, and you always got to be ready. He embodies what Coach Cristobal instills with these guys. My number was called. I'm going to produce. And you saw how Fletcher responded, like, he's happy for his brother. Like, if he's successful, we're all successful. And the biggest goal right now is to win this game, go 1-0, and come back to Hard Rock.
I think Fletcher's he's just got such great stuff about him, because like even going back to the A&M game, going right to Malachi Toney when he has the mess up, and then just like carrying it on his shoulders and then getting the opportunity. I think that's like some of the coolest things when you watch a team grow through big moments, to see that type of stuff between players. Like what do those moments mean when you see guys just pick each other up when there are down moments?
That's how you know they're a great team, right? We've had too many coach-led teams, and we all know when it comes to great teams, you have to be player-led teams, meaning the coach doesn't have to say anything to you. We got this. We make a mistake, I got his back. I'm going to pick him up. We're going to trust him again, and we're going to go out and get the W. And that's what you saw. You saw Fletcher go over there, and he said the same thing about him in high school. Like, listen, we wouldn't be here in this position if it wasn't for you in the regular season. We're going to come back to you. We got you. And again, all these guys trust each other. I haven't seen a closer team like this in forever at the U.
Do you think this is this matchup in particular? Do you feel like Malachi Toney has a chance to make more explosive plays? Because they've gone up against some pretty good defenses. It's probably a little step down. They're going to have to keep up a little bit against Ole Miss, you would think, right?
Well, what do you think Ole Miss is going to try to take away from this team, right? I think they're going to stack the box to try to take away the run, because we've dominated that. And if you give this team soft coverage or one-on-one out on the outside press, Carson's going to trust his guys. And if you're going to leave one-on-one with Malachi in the middle, I'll take that matchup all day long.
Have you been impressed with Carson? Because like he came in kind of polarized and he's gone through his times with the turnovers and whatnot. But man, I thought like the idea that not only the big throws, but the runs, I thought they just showed a lot from him.
Carson's perfect for the offense, right? Everyone's like, oh, he's not putting up 300 yards. I said, you don't need to put up 300 yards. You need to limit the possession, get the high explosive offense off the field. He made key decisions and great throws on every point that you needed. He didn't put the ball in harm's way, and that's how you win games. People that say, oh, I need this quarterback for 30, 300 yards. Why? The team you're about to play has one of the most explosive, fastest offense in America. What you need to do is sit them on the sideline. That means run the ball, take time off the clock, and that's exactly what we did in that 5-minute drill to end the game.
So, Brittney, what are you nervous about?
I don't even have words anymore. I'm nervous so far too much already. Thank you.
She literally came in today, Brian. She's like, I'm so nervous about this. She won't let me even fantasize about next week. She's like, you're gonna jinx it. I'm like, all right, I won't talk about it anymore, about the idea of where they're at. But this is so fun. Like I can't imagine, and just to see, to get to see the city celebrate a team, like how much this area cares about football. The damn professional team ain't doing a thing for it. So to see the U have a game like this, I just think it's special for this area.
And I think one of the most impressive things was at the game last week. Obviously Ohio State travels extremely well with their fans, but we filled up our sideline to the T, top to bottom. It was slammed, and I gave praise to all the fans out there because they traveled and they traveled loud and they traveled. And I think the same thing when it comes to Fiesta Bowl. I think we're going to show up in that one too as well. And I just think it's going to be a Rutgers crowd, and we're going to, hold our own when it comes to the fans.
Before we get you out of here, how much are you enjoying Michael Irvin on the sidelines?
Come on, Mike's the best. Mike's Mike, right? I think, when it comes to looking from the outside in, if you're a fan or a former player from a different team, it's a joke to you, but you wish and you prayed that your Hall of Fame alumni had that much enthusiasm for your team and showed up for those kids anytime they needed, whether it's have a speech, come to practice, give pointers. People wish that they had the alumni and the fraternity base that we have at University of Miami.
Oh, seeing his reaction to like NIT games, and now he gets to do it with like the highest of stakes. He's probably been dying for moments like this to embrace it. Like that's the thing that's cool about it.
Let's just say this. We're flying out tomorrow. We have 2 Hall of Famers on our plane, and we have another 3 first-round picks. So just know that we are going to be coming locked and loaded, and this is what the football fraternity at the U does.
Brian, appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Brittney, don't get too nervous over there. Have a drink.
I'll be working, so I can't. But
afterwards, celebratory. Sorry, you won't let me jinx it. Thank you, Brian.
Take it easy, guys.
All right. Well, we got tomorrow. We got Canes and Ole Miss, the Fiesta Bowl, and Brian Monroe, of course, you can hear him on WQAM. Always does a great job as we get you ready for all your coverage starting at 3 tomorrow. 7:30 tip from Tempe, getting you ready. What are you like? Are you okay?
No.
Why?
I'm gonna cry myself to sleep tonight, Tobin.
She's mortified, Tobin.
Mortified. I'm never gonna speak again.
You made her feel like you were talking to her, though.
You did. Like, I honestly wouldn't even think to even say anything. Even like you said, Brady. I don't know. It's not your fault. It's my fault. I should know better. But that was.
I would be happy to hear what makes you nervous. I don't want you to not feel like you can speak on the show. You can absolutely say what makes you nervous. And I'm sure Brian was genuine when he said he wanted to hear what made you nervous as well. I'm sure he will.
It's fine.
I think he will. Relate to that.
Yeah, all my thoughts left my brain. I have no thoughts. I need to recuperate.
It's completely understandable. Listen, it's been a crazy time. This is going to be a high stakes moment tomorrow. You're not going to know what to do with yourself.
Yeah.
And so it's probably good that you have some kind of a distraction like Heat Bulls.
Yeah, but the thing is, you get me talking about the Hurricanes, and you're just like, I just like see red. I'm like a bull.
Yeah.
And I just was like, I thought you were talking to me, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll tell you what I'm feeling.
It's gonna be,
but I'm not the guest.
High stakes games are crazy. Like they're gonna feel you're gonna feel like. But the one that it was weird because I felt more nervous against the Texas A&M game than I did Ohio State. Now, I know they jumped out to the quick lead, but even into the day, I just was like, I really don't want them to blow this. And that's how I felt when it got to Ohio State. I was like, I just want them to win this. And so I guess that's where I'm different. Like, I didn't want them to get into the dance and everybody be laughing at them because they embarrassed. And then obviously it was a weird game because of all the turnovers and missed kicks and missed opportunities. I didn't feel that way with Ohio State. I felt like, no, this team, they're gonna. I thought they were being disrespected by the odds makers, and I thought they had a really good chance. And I don't feel like they're in a spot where I'm overlooking Ole Miss. I just think I'm really confident in this team.
I think this game has me more nervous than any of them because I feel like it's gotten to a point where the last 2 games, it was like, okay, I'm just happy to be here and playing in such an important game. And now I feel like I've moved past that and we're at the point of like, it will be extreme. Like losing will be disappointing. It won't even feel good, which I know is crazy because I should be just happy that we're here because at the beginning of the season, I never anticipated this. After that loss to SMU, I remember being like, the season's over and I don't even know what next season's going to look like because I don't see how anybody comes here. I don't see how anybody stays here after, the efforts of the past 2 seasons. But this one is just like, it's like you could taste it. And that's what has me so like, ugh. I just can't. I don't have words for it. Seriously, it's insane. I have the goosies. It's like my stomach drops whenever I talk about it. I get emotional if I talk about it too much, just at the thought of it.
Goosies. By the way, if you guys want to go to Real American Freestyle, it's coming to Amerant Bank Arena on Saturday. Colby Covington goes up against Luke Rockhold, and I'm going to give away a 4-pack of tickets right now. Let's go to caller number 4. Caller 4 to 305-567-0560. If you guys want to go to Real American Freestyle at Amerant Bank Arena this Saturday, I'm going to be boots on the ground for that one. I'm going to go. Taking Tommy to go watch this. Check out. I've been liking what they're doing on social media. I haven't seen one of their events yet. But you got Colby Covington, former UFC interim welterweight champion, taking on former middleweight champion Luke Rockhold in a freestyle wrestling match. And you got Yoel Romero, Bo Nickel, Arman Sarukian. All those guys are going to be participating in events as Real American Freestyle comes to Amerant Bank Arena. So if you guys want to go, caller 4 to 305-567-0560 wins the tickets. 305-567-0560. Caller 4 is going to win those. If you can't wait to win, you can purchase your tickets at amerantbankarena.com/events. But right now, caller 4 to 305-567-0560 will win a 4-pack of tickets to Real American Freestyle this Saturday. Colby Covington against Luke Rockhold. Caller 4 wins the tickets. We're back with more after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Final hour, Tobin and Leroy here with you on FM 104.3 WQAM. Take you guys up until 2 here on the program. Play a little Rats Off a Ship coming up this hour. Rats Off a Ship. And having some fun here on a Wednesday. Leroy's out today, enjoying a day off, well-deserved. And we are getting ready for a big-ass game coming up tomorrow with Ole Miss and Miami in the Fiesta Bowl. Winner goes on to the national championship right down here in Miami, and that is pretty freaking awesome. We also got the Heat. They're making me less happy after their loss last night to the Timberwolves, and there was no hobnobbing either to even soften the blow. Ridiculous. They are going to practice today. They take on the Chicago Bulls tomorrow at 8 o'clock. The Panthers, they lost to the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-1 to start their road trip. And then the big search right now is on the Dolphins with their next head coach / general manager. A couple notes that have been circling the ether. This is from Armando Salguero, of course, covered the Dolphins for a very long time NFL reporter and columnist. He said, a little background on Troy Aikman's addition to the Dolphins GM search. He said the Dolphins discussed it with Jimmy Johnson, and he suggested they speak with Aikman. So that's where that comes from. A little less random. Former Dolphins coach Jimmy Johnson influencing, bringing in Troy Aikman a little bit. So you have that. And then Diana Rossini, NFL reporter for The Athletic, she says that the Dolphins have met with several GM candidates, and while conversations about Miami future, about a Miami future that includes Mike McDaniel are taking place, I'm told decision makers have been pushing in interviews to hear candidates' thoughts on a new coach as well. So there you go. They're asking in the interviews, what do you think about this guy? Getting their thoughts on Mike McDaniel. And I don't imagine, I gotta be honest with you, I don't imagine that a ton of them are going to be like, oh, that's my guy. Gotta have him. Can't lose him.
I'm just going to reiterate my point that if you have to go to that extent, maybe he isn't your guy. Let's just cut the strings.
Nice guy? It's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a nice guy. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, hey, you think you're a coach? I mean, what do you mean? You know, what do you think? It's like, I don't know. I mean, like, because out of this playoffs, right? Like, all right, so Harbaugh shook loose yesterday. Maybe Tomlin will. Maybe McDermott will.
You think so?
Maybe. Like, maybe. Maybe. I'm putting maybes on these ones. Maybe LaFleur. Maybe. Even though they've had a ton of injuries, he probably doesn't deserve. Look, I don't think John Harbaugh deserved to get fired. I'm just trying to look. I'm trying to look at like where are these gold candidates that the Dolphins are hoping for. But the thing is, I just don't think that they have anybody they're losing that's special at this. And I think that he is bleeped up too many things as a head coach, especially from just a leadership standpoint. Yes, I understand people who are like, oh, the team didn't quit on him. Here's the thing with that, guys. You think Jordan Brooks has quit a lot of things in his life? When you lead the league in NFL tackles, you think that guy is going to go around saying, like, I'm not quitting on Mike McDaniel because he carries around a wood bat for half the season? These are professional athletes. And, by the way, whenever, and I mean whenever, they took on a team that was a wee bit up in weight class, how much did that not quitting on Mike McDaniel help them? Not much. And it always looks like when he takes on a good team, he gets embarrassed and outcoached quite often. Not always, but quite often. So I really don't know why the Dolphins are having him hang in the wind here. I was listening to Baldy this morning on Joe, and he goes, you think like somebody would scoop him up right away? He goes, I don't think so. Maybe a coordinator, maybe. Like, if Mike McDaniel did, let's say today, we get the news, Mike McDaniel out. You think we're going to get that report of like 9 people are after him as head coach?
No.
No.
I don't think so. Maybe 1. I bet he gets an interview. Weaver's getting a couple interviews. Which, by the way, he was kind of like, I don't know. There was something weird about the way he was talking about Anthony Weaver, too. I was like, what, are you rats off a ship off him, too? What, are you one of these guys you can't get along with any of your defensive coordinators?
Well, I think that's another thing. It's like if you're rats off a ship off Weaver and you continue to go through defensive coordinators with Mike McDaniel, like at what point it's like there's only one common denominator left, and it's you, buddy. It's you.
The Dolphins have thanked the Dolphins fans by putting them on the elevator with the message, "Thank you, fans."
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Really appreciate
Some of the responses have been,
Oh.
you may be miserable for like 5 months, by the way. Another guy says, it literally does not matter if y'all don't get John Harbaugh. Another guy just says, Harbaugh. Elite Marino goes, fire McDaniel.
But like, what did they expect?
Another guy goes, Notorious Fantasy goes, y'all haven't won a playoff game my whole life. Show some thanks by doing something notable. I know y'all just a social media person, but you could probably run this team better than Stephen Ross.
Jeez.
At least he goes, I know I'm just yelling at some random.
This poor 20-something-year-old girl.
Pretty much.
She's like, damn it.
She's like, I'm just a girl. Please.
I thought this was cute.
Another guy goes, another subpar season. At least Chubb didn't single-handedly ruin it like he did the last few years when he threw his helmet onto the ground in a fit of rage, whiffing yet again on what should have been a game-ending sack against the backup quarterback in Tennessee.
Oh, man.
These comments are really good. And the GIFs.
One guy just goes, the 84 Chambers goes, yeah, thanks for nothing. I think you guys better go get John Harbaugh. I'm just going to say.
I think they're
you better go get, hey, you're so good at building buildings, Stephen Ross. Can you build a football team, please?
Clearly not.
And not get caught tampering and not do it ham-handedly and not be a buffoon about it? Respectfully. Like, you're obviously a smart man. You've made a fortune. That's great. You got some qualities about you. For once, can you just get the guy who can build your football team correctly and also have it all on the same page, okay? Don't, by any means, just go get somebody like a buffoon with Jeff Highland with Joe Philbin and think that's going to work, because it didn't. And then don't have Joe Philbin be forced with a GM like Dennis Hickey and think that's going to work, because it didn't. And then when you get somebody like a Brian Flores, maybe check his temperature a little bit if he's cool with tanking, and also if he would be cool with Tom Brady. Check those boxes before you bring that stuff up after he's hired. And then, dude, if you think you're going to get Sean Payton, for the love of God, get Sean Payton first. And I didn't even talk about when you screwed up the last Harbaugh one this hour. So, please, just do this in order of operations. Okay? Remember that? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Man, I haven't heard that in a long time.
No.
Stephen Ross, please, for the love of God, excuse me and my dear Aunt Sally, because she is also really tired of your nonsense. Do this normal, get rid of the coach, and then take that oodles of money and go get me the other Harbaugh brother. And if not him, somebody other than you better get Tomlin. But I am tired of his long press conferences and mediocre offense.
Amen.
Just bring in anyone.
Just do this normally. All right? No scandals. It's already leaking that you're talking to him. Well, you have a coach. Now it's leaking. You're telling all your gym kids, what do you think about the other coach? You know what that means, dude? Fire your coach. You don't want him. It's okay. It's your organization. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to move on. No one's going to put you in meanie jail For God's sakes, stop with the charade. You know you don't want him as the coach anymore. Move on so he can move on. He can go back to the warm bosom of Kyle Shanahan, and we can all just go about our merry lives. But I swear to God, dude, if this ends with us all thinking you're going to get John Harbaugh, and we're still stuck with Mike McDaniel, and Harbaugh ends up with the Giants, dude, you're going to become an even bigger laughingstock than you already are, which is pretty hard, by the way, in a football sense. And yes, I'm sure if your hip will allow it, you could dive into a pile of coins like Scrooge McDuck, and that's nice. But you're a loser owner. You have done no winning. So let's start with baby steps. Correctly get rid of the coach because you don't want him, very clearly. I mean, you hired the most vocal critic of him, Troy Aikman, to sit in on every interview. And something tells me those reviews of him have not been positive. He's carrying a bat around. So, do us all a favor. Put the guy out of his football misery. Let him move on. Maybe he'll get the Browns job. Maybe the Titans. Poor Cam Ward. Did you guys see that Jason Garrett was interviewing with the Titans yesterday?
Yeah.
I felt terrible for Cam Ward when I heard that news.
If Mike McDaniel, I would pay money to see a conversation between Cam Ward and Mike McDaniel. Like good money I would pay.
I'm just saying.
Because I think he's going to look like Mario Cristobal receiving that fruit basket.
He was so mad. He was
so angry. It's going to be Cam Ward's face if Mike McDaniel was his head coach.
Honestly, it's like, what is this? Did I actually need this?
Why? There are no gifts in football. What are you doing? The only thing that's a gift is when Julian Sane gifted Keontae Scott a touchdown. That's the only gift. Other than that, take your basket back. But I'm serious. Stephen Ross, I swear to God, dude, you can't blow this again. You can't. I mean, you can, but I'm really trying to hope that you won't. What about the son-in-law? Can he not be an idiot? I don't even know you, sir. But it seems like, you're in the Ross family now. Do us all a favor. Make sure that old Papa does this correctly. In fact, go to him and be like, Papa, shouldn't we fire Mike McDaniel first? Shut up, Danny. I know what I'm doing. But didn't you get caught tampering before? Now, I don't know why his son-in-law sounds like that. But until he doesn't have his football cojones yet. So until he does, I'm not giving him a real voice. Until then, you're Danny Boy. That's who you are. All right, Danny Boy? So until you come and give me a Harbaugh, that's how I'm going to do your voice. And Garfinkel, enough of your nonsense, too. You have done a lot of money making around here. All right? You walk around all cool with your glasses, with your swagger. You make sure that he does this right, too. I know he listens to you. You built a damn racetrack in the middle of our city. That's crazy. We were supposed to get a water park.
Not too much on F1. Not too much.
Just tell Tom Garfinkel, make sure he does this correctly. Because if he blows this again, where he's like, let's just talk about firing Mike McDaniel, and then we'll maybe get a new coach. And if we don't, we got Mike McDaniel. Can somebody just grab Stephen Ross and be like, you did this already, dude, with the same last name guy? So I'm begging you guys, please don't embarrass the fan base with it. You've already done it quite enough with the lack of winning and all of the scandals. Don't do this again. Do this correctly. Send Mike McDaniel on his merry way. You very clearly don't want him, and that's fine. That's completely your prerogative, and then have a normal search for head coach. Okay? Somebody says, did Leroy get the GM job? Yeah, that's actually where he is today. He's on a Zoom meeting.
I would not be mad at that.
Like, I'd be so thrilled. You know who would love a fruit basket? Leroy.
Oh,
no, yeah. I don't think he would. He doesn't like fruit.
There's no fruit in there, JFig.
He likes fruit. He doesn't like fruit cake.
He doesn't like.
He would
many
love that
things,
basket.
actually.
We'll take a break. Appropriately, Rats Off a Ship is next.
Rats off a ship.
All right. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, to get to our favorite Wednesday game. Rats off a ship. We'll get some topics from Jennifer, and she will tell us where those rats will go or what topics our rats will have a decision to go with. And then Steve Goldstein will talk some hockey with us. I love the Panthers, even though they also lost yesterday. Not like the Heat did, dude. Jesus. Anyway, Jennifer, what do we have today for Rats Off a Ship?
We're going to start off with your favorite person in the world, which is JJ Redick.
Great.
Podcast boy.
What did he have to say?
He says LeBron is Greg Maddux at the end of his career and doesn't have his best stuff all the time, and I'm his catcher.
Rats off a ship on JJ Redick. You know what, dude?
Rats off a ship.
Can I just tell you something?
Sure.
Poor JJ Redick. Oh, look at me. I did a podcast for a couple of years, and I fell ass backwards into LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves, and then miraculously got Luka. Oh, you have to coach LeBron at the end of his career. The only reason you have the job is LeBron. Because you're a podcast boy, and he did the podcast with you. That's you, podcast boy. So tired of JJ Redick's whining and woe is me. You're not his catcher, okay? You're his podcast boy. That's all you are. Rats off a ship on JJ Redick.
Rats off a ship.
Chris Quinn would sit here whining about, oh, I have LeBron losing his fastball. No, what Chris Quinn would do, he would dial something up, dude. He would draw up a play on the clipboard. Would sit here talking about, oh, woe is me, boo-hoo. And he'd never be late for a press conference because of Art Basel. JJ Redick. Sorry. Where are your rats?
You'll never let that go.
That's not professional. It's unprofessional behavior. Where are your rats with JJ Redick, Jennifer?
Rats off a ship. Come on.
Rats off a ship.
Oh, he's Greg Maddux at the end of his career. Shut up. Didn't have his best up. If you would have known anything, Greg Maddux, first of all, he threw lollipops as it was anyway. He was about, use somebody else. Don't even know baseball, JJ Redick. Idiot. Sorry, it's too much. Brittney?
I'm scared for what I'm about to say because I feel like it might actually be my last day on the show if I say this. But I actually like JJ Redick, and I really was an avid listener.
You what?
That's it.
You what? You like JJ Redick? Do tell. Why?
I do. I was an avid listener to his podcast.
Oh, of course, when he was podcast boy.
And I really like his archaeological digest of his house in Brooklyn. I really did like it when he was retired.
Hold on. You're out here saying you like him because of his house?
No, I liked his podcast. And then in turn, I became a pretty big fan of him. And so then I watched his archaeological digest of his house.
Wow, Brittney. Wow, you were socializing with the enemy.
The enemy, yeah. So like whenever he talks bad about JJ Redick, I kind of always just stay silent. And I don't know if you notice because I don't agree with you. I like JJ Redick.
This is worse than you choked on the whole nervous thing. This is way worse.
Now he's lashing out.
This
now he's
is
lashing
way
out.
worse than you being an F1 fan.
Yep. So I've embarrassed myself today and now Tobin's on Tobin's dark side. So therefore, if you never see me on the show again, you guys will know why.
For the record, she's not scheduled to be here the next 2 days, so I didn't kick her off the show for this. But I am quite taken aback.
So no, let it be known.
I don't think
You like JJ Redick. What's the like about him? Stupid hair, stupid sleeve tattoo. We get it, dude. You know basketball. Anyway,
one thing Tobin hates is people who have hair that are.
Oh, dude, don't get me started. You see Max Strus all of a sudden can't get on the court, huh?
Hmm.
At a setback.
you don't like people who have hair.
It's not that it's nothing wrong with having hair. I have hair, but it's just like, it's like look at me hair,
Yeah,
The
show off hair.
He does the gel coif like he's a quail.
I just don't know what the animosity is towards him.
Oh, what's not to be animosity about? First of all, the guy got to skip the line to get a head coaching job. You got people grinding out here like Chris Quinn, Eric Glass, Karan Butler, Malik Allen, just to name a few. Dan Pasacchio, just to name a few. Wayne Ellington, guys who are actually in the grind. You know what they weren't doing? Podcasting. Karan Butler did write a book, and I think Mark Wahlberg's making his life a movie. But that has nothing to do with podcasting.
Yeah, so there you go. I like JJ Redick, and I stand by my statement. So I'm not rats off the ship with what he said.
Fine. He's a coacher. Forgot he's Rodriguez over there on the sidelines. What do you got? What's number 2, Jennifer?
How do we move past this?
I don't know.
Well, we're gonna try. The Marlins are on the verge of trading Edward Cabrera to the Cubs.
I'm not rats off a ship because I have a fear that Edward Cabrera just had his best season, and I actually think it's kind of smart that they are getting rid of him because he always gets hurt. And after years of a lot of walks, really, really fast throwing walks because he throws 100 miles an hour, but none of it was around the plate. He had this really great season last year, and I would also be skeptical of it. So I'm not rats off a ship. I kind of get it. And they also have 2 awesome prospects coming up. They need some sticks, so hopefully they can get a decent bat from the Cubs. I would like that, please. So I'm not rats off a ship. Jennifer?
I love injured players. What are you talking about? It's always D here. I mean, do I really care that much? Not necessarily. So
Different rats.
indifferent rats, yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think I have indifferent rats as well. I'm not going to lie to you.
I mean, he was their best pitcher last year. You guys have no care of it at all?
No.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's just like they trade everyone that's decent on that team. So what am I to argue at this point?
All right. You like JJ Redick, huh? That's crazy. I mean, it's insane behavior. I just don't understand.
I really do. Like, you can ask anybody. I used to listen. I loved Old Man.
You talk about him a lot.
I really
too.
did.
It's objectively a good podcast. I'm not saying he wasn't a good podcast host. A little of the sound of his own voice. But all right, he was a good podcast host. It doesn't mean you can be an NBA coach.
One of my favorite ones is when Jimmy Butler was on it. And then Kevin Love.
That was a very good podcast.
It was great. I really enjoyed it in high school. Like, I was an avid listener. And I've been silent for a really long time about my love for him. And I don't know why I chose today after I embarrassed myself to say something about it. But I guess, just leaving all my cards on the table.
Well,
Is there anything else?
I can't go on with rats off the ship. We're done. We're going to go to rats on the ice. Panthers, they lost last night against the against the Blue Leafs. They will Maple Leafs, excuse me. I'm flustered. I'm a little hurt.
I'm so sorry.
I'm really sorry that I did that to you.
Thank you, JFig. Your apologies mean nothing. We'll talk to Steve Goldstein, your voice of the Florida Panthers on the television broadcast. He joins us next. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Tobin and Leroy here with you on FM 104.3 WQAM. Took a couple ones on the chin last night. Your Heat got smoked by the Timberwolves, 122-94. Panthers, they started off their road trip, and they fell to the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-1. That's okay. They're back at it on Thursday. Very busy sports night on Thursday night. The Panthers will be taking on the Canadiens at 7 o'clock. We talked to the voice of your Florida Panthers on the television broadcast alongside Randy Muller. They do an excellent job. Steve Goldstein joining us there. Steve, appreciate the time, man. How are you?
So hang on a second. Hey, Coach Harbaugh, come here. Hey, John. Okay, I'm with you now. I'm sorry.
Do you remember, Steve, you remember the last Harbaugh pursuit? Do you remember how weird that was?
You know, it's funny because I was working that day for CBS, Miami, Channel 4. I worked part-time, and I was actually staked out on, 30, right? Southwest 30th off University, the old training facility when the helicopter came in.
Oh, man.
So, yes, I remember it.
That was something. This loss last night, they're coming off an excellent loss against the Avalanche. Last night, it was a tough one. And not as angry as I've heard Paul Maurice or perturbed as I've heard Paul Maurice after the game. What did you the make of the performance and Paul's reaction to it?
Yeah, agree. He's got such a good finger on the pulse. Look, this is new for everybody. I mean, how many teams go back to back and 3 straight times getting there. So, he's basically had the foot off the gas as far as really getting on guys because he understands the situation. And, last night you got an inordinate, you're up to 7 guys out of the lineup without Jones, and you can live with 3 or 4. You start getting over 5 and 6 players out. It's really tough. It's like 40% of your team. But last night annoyed him because I thought, and obviously I'm assuming he thought, they really weren't ready to play the game. Toronto had been playing well. It's a rival. It's starting a road trip. It's coming off, a real big win over Colorado. And, they just didn't play the way they didn't look the way they're supposed to look. He can live with losses, but it's got to look the way it's supposed to look. And, Toronto was the better team in the effort level as far as the 50-50 battles. They won more of them. They had the better legs. So there's, I trust the guy so completely as a head coach because he's done everything right since he stepped foot in South Florida, and he's got a great knack and his finger on the pulse of when to push, when to kind of say, hey, guys, not acceptable, and when to kind of, just back off, which he has most of this season.
Yeah, and it's also a tough thing because it's like you earn that trust after, 3 straight trips to the Stanley Cup final. So it's hard ever when to know when, to worry as a fan or to just be like, well, they're the champs. Like, you got to just accept that. Like, how do you ride the wave of that? Because you can only take so many. Even Marchand getting banged up last night. Like, you can only take so many where you're like, are they going to be able to dig out of this?
Right. Well, the key is, before last night, you felt pretty good. Half a season, you're on a 94-point pace, without your guys. Hopefully those guys are coming back. And you're feeling like you're in pretty good shape. I mean, 3 years ago at this time, they were 9 points back. So, that was before the game last night. You would have liked to get the win last night and start the road trip with a victory. But, I just look at it personally as it is what it is. I mean, nobody has ever played. It's uncharted territories because no team has ever played as much hockey as these guys have over the last 3 years. It's never happened. And then you go and not only do you lose a ridiculous number of guys, but you lose the guy that, if I'm I know Connor McDavid is Nate McKinnon, Aleksander Barkov's the one that's won the last 2 cups. So, arguably, if you're starting a team in the league, the guy you're taking isn't even playing. So it's not just all role players that they're missing, Barkov and Tkachuk. So I thought they managed it pretty well. It's a matter of just kind of surviving, keep your head above water. And I think they've got a pretty good confidence that after the Olympic break, when they get most of their people back, it's a team that, okay, if we're, within 3 points or 4 points of a playoff spot, we're in pretty good shape. And as you know, it doesn't matter where they finish, this particular team. In fact, in some ways, I think they'd rather finish lower and actually start on the road because they've had so much road success in the playoffs. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens tomorrow night. Montreal's a team that's kind of had their number for whatever reason, even though they kind of had the game won. when they played a couple weeks ago at home. Yeah, and they let it get away.
Crazy.
A crazy game.
I was happy to see
Tarasov
bounce back the way that he did, though, because that was incredible against Colorado. Because he had a shutout in hand, like basically against the Canadiens, and it just slipped away.
Could not agree with you more. In that second goal, the miscommunication behind the net, could not agree with you more. And for a guy like him to come back against the Avalanche and play the way he did, and he's got McKinnon on the breakaway with 3 seconds left, I thought that was big. Since mid-October, they're 10-2-1 following a regulation loss. So they don't let things linger. They have a unique ability to snap right back. So I'm real curious to see how they come out tomorrow night.
So Matthew Tkachuk spoke this weekend, and he said he kind of alluded to maybe the end of the road trip, but I saw on your Twitter yesterday that he's out of the non-contact jersey. What's the buzz? Is there any chance it's early on the road trip? What do you think is the feel of when Tkachuk will be back?
Well, you know me, I'm like every other fan. Okay, you lost the game last night. If you don't win tomorrow, get him in there on Saturday. It's funny because it's a weird road trip, Tobin. The first part of it ends with Game 4 in Buffalo on Monday. Then they've got 3 days off, and then the road trip kind of continues on Friday and Saturday. So, look, if he doesn't play in the next 3 games, you're really giving them like an extra 4 days off. They may elect to do that. I'm kind of joking. I don't think any results over the next 72 hours determine whether he plays either Saturday or Monday, or they wait until the following week. But, the great news is it appears to be imminent that he will be back at some point very soon in the next handful of games.
And what do you think they're going to be missed? Obviously he's great, but it's we haven't seen him since Game 6. So what do you think that's going to just bring to them as a whole, as far as balancing out the roster and obviously just the attitude that he brings?
Yeah, I think those 2 things are huge. He does those 2 things. And, remember, we hadn't seen him in a long time before Game 1 in Tampa last April. And what does he come in? He bangs in 2 power play goals, wasn't even probably close to 100%, didn't play very much 5-on-5, and the guy just had a huge impact. And whatever percentage he was in the playoffs, he was at a point a game during the playoffs in need of surgery. So I think it's going to be a huge factor, on the power play, which right now without Jones and without Barkov and Tkachuk has struggled a bit of late. He brings the stuff you talked about. And we also have to remember, with all the stuff around his persona, which is a big part of it, the guy's a legit point a game guy or more. And to me, I'm fascinated because I think it's really the first time he's healthy since his first year as a Panther. Remember, he took the hit from Kolasar in the 23 final. Remember, he needed his brother to help him get out of bed to even play Game 4 and he needed help getting the skates on him. And the guy is just a true warrior and a gamer. And, he was never really healthy, I don't think 100% since. So I think it's going to be a huge factor. And I just hope that as he comes back, no one else leaves the lineup. That's my hope.
Do you think, in all honesty, I understand he's so American. Matthew Tkachuk brushes his teeth with a bald eagle. He is Mr. America. Is there any nerves about letting him go to the Olympics just because, and I know he's so prideful with it, but just, hey, like you said, this may be the first time they've had him fully healthy, and now he's leaving your team.
Look, Tobin, me, I'm a little old school on it. I don't care when guys play preseason football. We saw Barkov on day 1 get hurt in a drill with no contact. Anybody can get hurt anytime. First of all, it's kind of a moot point because he's playing, and all these guys, if they can go, they're putting on the jersey for their country, whether we like it or not. In a perfect world, the only hockey that anybody would play, or the only games that any athlete in any sport would play, would be the ones for your team. But, that's just not reality. So, he's going to the Olympics. I think it's great as a hockey fan. And, obviously, like you, we all root for the USA. Him and his brother being there is going to be awesome. And you hope he comes out of it and he's even in better shape. I don't know if he can gain any more confidence, but comes back a confident player like the rest of them. And he's ready to go. Look, this was a big topic last year in that 4 Nations.
Yeah.
And not only did all those guys go and play, but Matthew actually got hurt and was out. And they still won the Stanley Cup which is incredible.
On the Olympic topic, I felt terrible for Bennett. He seemed really bummed that he didn't make the roster. What the hell? How does the Conn Smythe Trophy winner not make the Canadian roster?
I mean, look, to me, it's silly. He was a big factor in them winning the Four Nations. And what did he do after that? Scored the most road playoff goals in the history of the NHL and in the playoffs. And as you said, won the Conn Smythe. So I don't get it. That guy's on my team, 7 days a week, 24/7. You could read between the lines. There's a few guys in the Lightning that made it. John Cooper is the coach. If you're in his shoes, and we're not, so we disagree with it. But if you're in his shoes, he's won with Anthony Cirelli and those guys. So he wanted those guys. And, I'm not disparaging any other player. Nick Suzuki's having a terrific season for Montreal. But, Team Canada made its choice. If it's me, I'm with you. That guy's on my team 24/7, 365. He did say yesterday, it was kind of unknown whether or not he was one of the alternates. So he did say yesterday in the locker room after the morning skate that he did get a text that he is an alternate. So there's still a chance he ends up going because, as there's still a month to go. And unfortunately, the way this sport is, each team's probably going to have a couple injuries.
Because I immediately went where I think a lot of people went is like this feels like a petty maneuver by Lightning Panther bleeding into the Canadian national team. Because Goldie, like when you're doing a Lightning game now, do you just expect, first of all, who the hell are they bringing up, and are you just expecting Royal Rumble every time that these teams square off?
You mean Ogie Oglethorpe from the Flash Shop is being called? I mean, yeah, that Scott Sabrin thing of just calling guys up on game day. I don't really know what Tampa's trying to accomplish, except maybe the Panthers just so in their head from not only eliminating them the last 2 years, but some of the games were close, but winning 8 out of 10 is 8 out of 10. Both series only went 5 games. It is what it is. I will say this. Before the Four Nations last year, I spoke to John Cooper, and, he told me, like, face to face, like, he loves Sam Bennett, and he wants Sam Bennett on his team. He needs Sam Bennett on that team. So this is not just a flat-out case of John Cooper saying, I don't like that guy, I don't want him on my team, because last year he did want him on the Four Nations, and they did win it. So I'm not sure, there's a GM, he's only the coach. Everybody has a say. I'm guessing the coach gets to pick a certain number of players, that he definitely wants. There's a cap on that. And you had some other guys like Suzuki who having good seasons. So I'm guessing it was kind of a numbers game. It would be great for the rivalry, as if we need any more in the rivalry. If John Cooper was shunning him, I really don't think that's the case.
Talking to Steve Goldstein, and you guys can catch him tomorrow on Randy Moeller as they broadcast Panthers and Canadiens, of course, as they continue their road trip. Before we get you out of here, Goldie, just getting back to Barkey, Matthew Tkachuk said he's a freak in the rehab. He was telling Eric Spoelstra back in training, I'm going to be back in 5 months. Have you seen him walking around? Is there any buzz on a freak recovery from Barkov? Anything on that at all?
Well, I was surprised at the Winter Classic practice on New Year's Day when he was out there. Now, he wasn't in uniform. He had the big, huge brace on his leg and on his knee, but he was on skates 3 months after reconstructive knee surgery. So it is encouraging. Look, this is such a wild card. Number one, from the team standpoint, the league has changed the rules. I'm sure you know this. You cannot be over the salary cap anymore in the playoffs. So if you're the Panthers and, the trading deadline is literally 2 months away, do you make the determination that he can't come back and use his money? Do you make sure you save it? I think he's probably earned that.
Right.
If he's coming back for the first round, then you definitely don't use his money. If he, under the cap, if he can't come back until, and I think kind of the latest or the average one was maybe the third round of the playoffs. Well, you got to first get to the third round of the playoffs in order for him to come back. So I think it's anywhere, honestly, from the end of the regular season, which is in April, to maybe the middle of May. And that was always the timetable. It's like a 6-week window. And obviously it makes a huge difference if he can play in the regular season, especially if you need those games to make the playoffs. So, it's up in the air. They got to make a lot of decisions on it. But yes, there's no doubt. If anybody can come back quicker, it's him. The guy is in incredible shape. And 24/7, all he's doing, whether it's on the ice, in the gym, resting, whatever it is, all he's doing is the best that he could possibly do to come back as soon as he can. We definitely know that.
I love the grainy videos of him at a park, just seeming like he's doing like Tai Chi on his knee, just to whatever he can.
People are stalking him
I know.
South Florida. Like, where was that? Was that up in Boca at a park? I don't even know.
I think so. It's on Panthers Reddit. Like, you just go and check it out. You can see all the grainy stalking photos of Barky. Goldie, appreciate the time. Have a great broadcast and safe travels.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. See you soon.
There you go. Steve Goldie Goldstein. Go check him out. Randy Moeller tomorrow. Panthers and Canadiens. And they obviously do a fantastic job. Of course, you're home of the Panthers right here on FM 104.3 WQAM. Doug Plagans, Billy Lindsay do a great job on the radio. The Cats will be back tomorrow taking on Montreal.